It's May the 9th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. TheJoelPearl.com on Blue Sky, by the way. It's a fabulous Friday. The weather is nice, not a cloud in the sky here in Toronto. And no, that's not Jeremy. Jeremy's trying to survive his metal vibes. But with me is the one and only SP3. The co-hosts I don't get to do most with, but I always enjoy when I do. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, look at that. He's being nice to me, guys.
We're nice.
Ain't that a change? When I'm not on here, he just buries me.
Yes.
I'm always nice to him when he's not on here.
Not
right,
true.
Guys?
Good call. When we're face to face, we're best of friends. Then the frenemies come out.
The frenemies come out at night. But yes, it's a Friday. I am here. I told y'all I would be here a lot this week. I said it was SP3 5 times, so it was SP15 on Monday when I thought that Joel wasn't going to be here on Wednesday, but now it's actually SP3 4 times, so it's SP12, and now I'm here for my 4th time this week. Feels like Mania week all over again.
Yep. I was telling the people I'm finally settled down. I'm back to normal. Mania week was one thing. I came back. I got sick as a dog. Then I went to Ottawa to go visit my family. So that took away. The Monday show got all messed up because of stuff going on at home. And then we came back early. So I'm able to catch back up and be back in it. But I always appreciate SP3 when you're in it and when you're doing all the stuff for us. I do appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm in it to win it. Like, this is my only other place outside of True Hill Heat that I consistently show up on. I remember the days when I used to show up on multiple channels, but then I either got fired or SmackDown became trash, and I decided not to do as much. So now I only do this stuff.
Well, you do a couple of special things here and there, right?
Yeah, I show up for my friends. Like, I was on Mex from Rest Things. I was on his channel, WrestleManiac, talking about if AEW is the new WWE developmental. That was a fun conversation. And I've done the Wrestling's podcast. I've went over to the Wrestle Talk office and I did some videos with them. I gotta hit up Luke and them, see if I can do some more while I'm still out here. I might be out here for much longer. I might get an extension because I like it out here. It's cheaper than New York City. So,
which is, I mean, I get it. I do get it because it's not like you're in the thick of it. So you're you'd probably be doing all right up there.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy with the time schedule of most shows, but I'm a New Japan fan, so it is easier for me to watch shows. Even though tonight is going to be horrible because they're in Ontario, California, so that show Resurgence doesn't start till 3 a.m. my time, and then they have a Japan show that starts at 8 a.m. my time. So I either have to go to sleep early and not finish SmackDown, which I have no problem with.
Yeah, do that.
SmackDown's horrible. Or I could stay up through the first 2 hours of SmackDown, then turn on Resurgence, watch an hour of Resurgence, go to sleep at my regular time if I was watching SmackDown, then wake up maybe like an hour into the Best of Super Junior show so I can catch just the block matches, because first half hour is at least going to be like preliminary tags, which I sometimes try to skip and then go back and watch later. But we'll see how I figure out this New Japan schedule. Is pissing me off. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Ryan Lambert. The answer is skipping SmackDown. Yes,
always, especially in a 3-hour format. SmackDown, you skip it. You can do maybe the 2 hours catch up later. You'll be fine. Don't even think about it. And also, it's a SmackDown going into a pay-per-view, and it's a very raw heavy pay-per-view. So like, what is this really for anyone? Like, what does it matter? Just go and enjoy. Go and enjoy your rest.
You're right. I you know what I'll do? I'll watch the first segment because John Cena will probably be the first segment because he wants to get the hell up out of there.
Can't blame him. I mean, does anyone want to be in? What city are they in tonight?
Yeah, because they're not in St. Louis, which I thought would just be. I thought that was the thing that they would do before Saturday pay-per-views, is just have it in the same city so people don't have to travel to the pay-per-view.
They're in Dayton tonight. Dayton, Ohio. At the Nutter Center, one of my favorite names for an event center.
So that's the hidden reason why Jeremy's not here today. He's going to the concert and then he's going straight to SmackDown.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
I agree. Makes all the sense in the world to me.
Is there anything like announced? Listen, here we are. Let's just do the SmackDown preview now.
Let's do it. Let's do everything in reverse of what y'all would usually do on a Friday show. Let's preview SmackDown now.
There's no Collision. It was last night, so it's not like we have anything to preview there. We'll talk about Backlash a little bit.
Yeah, we got to talk about Backlash at the end of the show, so might as well talk about SmackDown now.
Exactly. John Cena is going to appear. We know this. Fatu and Solo Sikoa are going to take on Damian Priest and LA Knight. Yeah. And then women's championship top contender match, Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. There you go.
Forgot about that. Yes. I am interested in seeing that, even though I think it's fairly certain that's going to be the DQ finish of the night.
I think so. Although they're building to the moment where Jade hits Jaded on Nia. Picks her up and does the thing.
But she'll probably hit it and then Naomi comes out.
Oh, yeah. I still think it'll be a schmouse finish like you're saying, but it'll be the moments in the match, because that's what we do in WWE is we build to the moment, and that's going to be Jade hits Jaded, or Jade picks up Nia for Jaded, and then the DQ finish. It's all about lifting up the woman who is larger than you and making that a moment. If she did it to Piper Niven, same thing. You'd have Kaylee Ray come and stop. Alba Fire, sorry.
So when are WWE going to get the rights for a moment like this? Some people wait a lifetime for that one special kiss.
It's more
That's
like
going to be the thing. That needs to be the theme song for them, since they're moment merchants. They need to get the rights for that.
I feel like that's something that the Young Bucks would pay for.
Probably right.
Or maybe Ricochet.
Now you're thinking like a booker. Someone get this guy a pencil or pen.
Hey, if there's one thing I know how to do, it's be creative when I want to be.
One shining moment's another one. Yeah, one shining moment. That's right. Another one.
And if y'all have one shining moment, go ahead, leave a thumbs up on the video. None of us have a Macintosh computer right now, so we don't get the pyro and the ballyhoo and the balloons and all that stuff. But instead, your thumbs up will go a long way. And subscribe to the channel always goes hard. We love it when you do it. And you can donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or your statement read on the air. Kaza sends us the first one and says, "Money's for the best morning show in wrestling. Thank you. We're better than the others." Shout out to Busted Open. They did have a great conversation with Shotzi. I am a big fan of Shotzi's work. So the conversation that she had on that show was great, but we are still the best morning show in wrestling. And yes, we will be bringing guests back onto our show soon enough. Don't you worry. Mark Marrow was on the damn show yesterday. These guys had a chat. So don't you worry. More and more guests is really what I'm getting at. We used to have one almost every show, and then life happened and we're back in it, baby. Matthew Hook's asking for a Thekla rundown.
Thekla rundown. What do you want to know? Do you want to know like anything I know about Thekla, or do you want to know like her stats? I don't know what rundown means.
Stats. Give us the college game day stats.
She was averaging in her final year in Stardom. She was averaging about 21 points per game, about 5 rebounds and 6 assists on 39% from 3 and about 45% from the field. But everybody hated her, like Jason Tatum. It seems like with the Joshi community, didn't like her too much. Her attribute stats. Oh, that's a good one. Her attribute stats, I think she's like at if everything's by 100 is the max that you can get. Charisma wise, she's at about like an 87, 88 in charisma. Mic skills, she's at a 90, a solid 90 right there. As far as the in-ring ability, I would put her at like a 70 to 75 on a good occasion. She's up there, but she's really more of like a character worker type person. That's why I think that she would fit in better on a U.S. American pro wrestling television promotion. So I just broke it all down for you.
So what you're suggesting is that Thekla will be timeless Thekla. She'll be.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I mean,
toxic.
There's only one person who can cut a promo about double entendres and the first time and being all sweaty and wet. And sometimes she would do it with one person. Sometimes she would do it with 2 persons, maybe 3. You guys need to get your minds out the gutter. She's not talking about that. She's talking about fighting for the AEW Women's World Championship. She's just the best character in wrestling.
One singular missed opportunity from that promo last night when they did the introduction and they go into the stand and she comes up from the box. I was half expecting someone to be sitting there when she comes up because she was clearly on her knees, and I thought they were going to play into it, but they didn't have anyone there. She just got up on her own.
Whoa! Unless Juice was healthy enough to be on TV, I don't know about all that.
I mean, according to Fightful Select, the man's feeling good. He's close to clearance, so I'm just saying. She came up from her own box. They could have had anyone there, gender non-specific, right? She's here, she's queer, and she's ready to take on all comers, and she'll come herself. But the point is, you could have done it, and I think it would have been hilarious and just completely out of pocket. You could have had two people really play into it. Have anyone out there, and I think that would have been fantastic.
I mean, fair enough. It should have been a woman preferably. But yes, I've been loving Timeless Tony Storm's work, so I wouldn't put her on that level. Maybe like a 2022 Athena, like when Athena first turns heel and she was getting her mojo ready. Not like 2023, 2024, 2025 Athena, but like 2022. When she was getting revved up. That's where I feel like Thekla's at to start off AEW. I think she can be a contributor to AEW. If they get the rotation right, they got to work on their rotation because we went way too long without seeing Willow Nightingale ball out the way that she did last night. Her and Chris Statlander. I love that match.
They always work well together. I mean, there's no shock there. And then getting the Marina Shafir stuff involved, that's another match that kind of has to come to fruition. They got to do something to
just
blow off.
Add it to Double or Nothing. Like, what are we waiting for?
I wouldn't be against doing Anarchy in the Arena with Willow and Marina as official competitors in the match. They walk and brawl, individually or as 2-on-2. Why not just have these two women blow off in this match? Like, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. It's easy.
Yeah, and it's two women in the main. That would be the first time that two women would be in the main event of a pay-per-view. So
yeah.
That would be kind of like a backdoor way to do it, but I wouldn't. We gotta take what we can get at this point with the woman being in the main event.
Well, it's not a Tony Storm match, so he can't really backdoor it so easily.
See, I set you up. I put up the alley, and we just did the Dwayne Wade LeBron James meet.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. It's Friday, so clearly we got some fun guests to join us. Well, let's see how this goes. The one and only Hawkins joins us with.
Oh, he's here! He showed up when I'm here. He was like, "We got to add more melanin to this show." Thank you, Cam.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Hey man, look at my guy. Look at my guy. Oh. So hey, yesterday I paid $355 for them to tell me he was good. For them to say, hey, I think he's great. I was like, yo, can we maybe cut that in half for the good news? And they did not cut it in half for the good news.
That's not how it goes.
Listen, man, I'm good. I'm good. SP3, wow. Pulled yourself up by the bootstraps. I love that for you. It's beautiful.
What? What?
Wow, you don't deserve that. Hey, listen, man. It was two of my favorite people. The two of you. Love seeing you guys together. Love that SP3 you had Joe's back. Love that Joe was able to pull up. Joe, salute to you, my man. I know I'm not always super familiar with your traditions, but I heard you talk about it, and you being there to support your family. Love seeing that. Love getting a better understanding of where you come from and just really how you process. So that was fun to see, my man. Fun might not be the right word, but important to see. So salute to you.
I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, listen, man. We live in a society, right, Boost? We live in a society. We got to let people just joke on each other. And you're supposed to like, oh, yeah, he got him. Oh, yeah. But you're not I know these people, right? Y'all know these. Like, I'm not exclusive. Y'all know these people. It's not that serious, but like Ricochet is cool as hell. He really is.
Great.
And he's really found himself in FP3. Like you can feel me on this. We're not a monolith. We don't all exist in one space. We don't all talk the same, walk the same, feel the same. And that's what the beauty of being us is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the beauty of being us is, like, listen, the coolest thing that happened to me WrestleMania weekend was meeting Bobby Lashley and getting to talk to him about, yo, you let me write your story for AEW, and I love your enthusiasm about wrestling, and like it really meant a lot to me. MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin really rolled together. They are not the same people.
No.
Like if you've talked to them, if you've been around them, those are three very different dudes. But they understand that their fight is the same, the struggle is the same, right? So Ricochet and Javon Evans, for all the differences they have, are fighting the same battle, right?
Yeah.
And like, but there really was some people I really trust said like, you can't get into a beef with a young dude because he'll cook you and everything. Listen, I've cooked a lot of young dudes on this here internet. You old, you lame. I was like, your mother would choose me over your father if she had a choice. And I was right every time because he made you. So how could I be wrong? Yeah, it's easy. That's not what it is. But I just hate that, like, people made think pieces out of, like, them bagging. And, you know, do I think the young man went a little too far? Yeah, sure, probably. I don't give a fuck, though. Who cares? Like, the thing is, the problem exists where if you busting on somebody, like, if you're in high school at lunch, you busting on somebody and you killing them, and some random person jumps into the circle and says, "Yeah, you got him." Like, bro, back up. Like, what are you doing? This is me and him. Like, we're having a good time. What are you doing? Why do you feel like you need to participate? These things don't need. Now they need to be talked about, but in real time, they don't need think pieces or you got to stop or all that kind of stuff. Like, or you got to worry about your job. Like you do, but I don't need you to tell me that. Like that's for the office. I again, I love Javon. It was really fun. We were at the Netflix brunch, and I'm talking to Trick because Trick is my man, and I'm talking about Javon because I don't know Javon. He's like, no, Cam, like he's dope. Like he's a real cool kid. Y'all will have a good conversation. And you know, I think that like a Jay Rose would probably have a great conversation with a Javon Evans, right? Like it's and Joel, I'll say this, and I've said this. I look around Media Row, and outside of like Alex, I'm like the youngest guy, and I'm 39. And I don't mean youngest literally, but you know what I mean. Like, it is not a young man or a young woman's game. And it needs to be because Javon Evans should have already been on somebody's website telling his story. You know what I mean? And I think that when you do get to talk to media for an extended period, and again, he did the media rounds, but when you do get to do that on an extended period, it slows down how you might present yourself, you know? And if they have to adjust, wait, you sleepy?
I see those. I see what
Got
y'all
him.
saying.
Got him.
Dozing.
If you have to adjust after that, it's because you understand it a little more. You know what I mean? So, again, when I talked to Ricochet, I was like, "You're crazy." He's like, "I'm not crazy." He was like, "Everybody else around me is crazy. They're just understanding." And when we went to Wale Mania, he was, he's with Samantha and her crew, and me and him talked, and he was very sweet. He was like, "Yo, I appreciate you telling my story because I think that there's a stink isn't the right word, but the people who want to tell the WWE to AEW stories have an agenda, right? Me, I'm just like, yo, you changed jobs. Tell me why." And so Mercedes, Lashley, Ricochet, like those are interesting stories to me. And again, like he's a very fun interview. And guess what? Sometimes in SP3, you can I see your hairline. Let me zoom in. You can listen. You can speak to this. You've been in the barbershop where the dude who's 40 just wants to get on the guy who's 20
Yeah.
and busts his ass. And like it's not like vicious, right? It's not personal. It's just like, I need you to know I still got it in me. And it's all fun. And we can go back to being who we are right after you get your cut. But that's what it is. So like watching entire threads about the disappointment I have in this young man. Can you please meet black people? Like outside of the context of wrestling. Because this is the thing about Javon. Like, Trick loves Javon. And that is all the cosign I've ever needed. You know what I mean? Like, Trick is my man. Trick loves Javon. And for your OG, I didn't mean to do it, to really be like, no, he's great. It means the world. And so that kid is good. But it's like, yo, I listen, Joel, I told you this story, and I got to tell Shawn Michaels this story. But this is literally what it is. SP3, I don't know if you know this. I grew up in San Antonio. I played high school football from Booster. We're old. From 99 to 03, right? So
Okay.
Shawn Michaels had retired at that point. So my freshman year, Shawn Michaels was working with our local Fox affiliate covering sports after he retired. And he stole one of our game footballs and literally put it on the news and say, "I'm here with the Taft Raiders on Friday night." Our coach, Coach Mayak, saw it and made us run laps because one of the ball boys got our balls stolen. I got to tell Shawn Michaels that story last year, and he apologized profusely. So listen, man, young guys are going to do young guy things. And so if a couple of more classes have to happen because Javon misstepped, oh no, I already work here. Like, I'm not, like, you're not taking me away from the thing that I'm doing. But no, it's fine, man. I remember the most interesting thing I heard about the PLE, I'm sorry, the Performance Center, is Mello was telling me, he was like, we take history classes, like about the history of WWE. Like they put them on games. So, oh no, you got to tell me how to talk to people. And historically, shout out to, hey, Joe, who's the kid who looks like '09 Orton? Miles Bourne?
Miles Bourne.
Miles Bourne. Yeah.
Listen, man. Boosty, thank you for focusing on me. Listen, man. Tommaso Ciampa, I really think might be the greatest NXT champion of all time. I think he's goofy for loving the police.
He ain't talking about the band, by the way. He ain't talking about the band.
Lil Wayne has the greatest mixtape run I've ever seen. I think he's goofy for loving the police. Like, both things can be true. Like, listen, I and SP3, you my man, we cover a sport, a show, a competition, an event that is primarily white men. They're not gonna love the things we love.
No, it's just different.
It's I can call you goofy and still think you're dope at what you do. Like loving the police is goofy as shit. I'm a college advisor. I have students who are like, hey, I want to get into law enforcement. I'm like, for what? But but I understand. And listen, I've never been faulted for, you can imagine the cross things I've said or felt. But that's the fun thing about where we live. We don't have to agree on the things that you love for us to prosper. Loving the police is goofy as shit. But fuck it. I don't know what you want me to feel. But, the kid, '09 Randy Orton being an aesthetic is so interesting to me because he's like the first wrestling meme come to life. You know what I mean? Like, if he's '09 Randy Orton was a demon. Yeah, Boost. '09 Randy Orton was a demon. He was a dog. He's a monster. No, yeah, he was, because people are like really doing that. Like Fletcher's doing it, Bourne is doing it.
Well,
like,
Fletcher's going in through it like a Pokemon. He went from like Charmander to Charizard in like 2. You seen his arm on Dynamite? God damn!
Bro,
He looked like he eating kangaroos.
I told Joe, eating kangaroos is crazy. By the way, you're very good at what you do, SP3.
Just saying.
I told Joe I was at South by Southwest, and I took my laptop. I went and sat at the Hilton and was typing up the Osprey deal. And Osprey was like, "Yo, when we interviewed, he was like, yo, I salute Kyle Fletcher for being able to like curate and produce his body in a way that I never could." And that's like, I try to explain to people like little insider thing. There's this kid down here in Texas, who is amazing, who is a great heel. He's actually from England too. And I pulled him aside at his show. I said, look, bro, you got it all. You got it all. But get in the gym with me. Like, let's get on these weights, because the only reason that you aren't where you should be is because you don't look like you wrestle. And I don't mean like Keith Lee don't look like he wrestled, but you understand what I mean. That's different. He looks like you shouldn't be able to do this. You know what I mean? But there's this one kid, and I won't say his name, but I'm like, bro, like, and it's crazy. So, hey, little insider story, short insider story. That NXT North American champion. He didn't say any words because he's such a jerk. But I'm with him, and I'm with a local promoter. We're out at a restaurant last weekend, and we're just, we're catching up because I didn't get to see him WrestleMania week because, like Joel will tell you, we had different media days, so we literally did not see each other, right? And I'm talking to the guy, and Danny O'Ryan is my favorite Texas wrestler. Shout out to Brick. Shout out to Hyon. Shout out to Steve. But Danny posted the video of me doing his commentary at West Coast Pro WrestleMania week. So me and this guy are kicking it, and he said the reason that Danny is not on AEW or TNA is because he's surrounded by losers. I said, what do you mean? And listen, he apologized afterwards. I was like, no, you said what you said. He said he's surrounded by losers. And I said, what do you mean he's surrounded by losers? He said, look, that kid that you talked to about getting in the gym, about improving his body so that somebody would want him, has he hit you up at all? I said, no, he hasn't. He said, like I said, surrounded by losers. And loser doesn't mean you can't win. It means somebody presents you with how you can get better, and you, hi Brucey, and you decide that that's not the path. I love these Texas kids, by the way. I don't think any of them are losers. It's not for me to say, but it really was like, yo, this is how you can get it done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like I made 13 points. I'm sorry, Joel.
He was just running them off.
It's funny because you mentioned Rick, and you're not the only one.
Did I? I don't think I did.
You mentioned a North American champion. You're not the only one who didn't get to talk to a North American champion that week. The reason there's a video that will never see the light of day, but Jeremy saw it from Media Day, where it's me literally camera down, turned on, light. You hear the light flick on, and then the North American champion is standing there, and the media is just like, "Oh, we're doing scrums with them now." I'm just like, "Hell, you are." And they're like, "No, we got to do this. We got to move along." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna keep fighting this." And then I bring the camera all the way around, and it's still running, and he's waiting, and he's waiting, and he's waiting, and he's standing there waiting and waiting because Stephanie Vaquera is doing her thing. And I turn to the media guy, and I'm like,
"You want to go?
You realize in this time I could have had my conversation." To which the media guy was like, "We couldn't really control this." I'm like, No.
You had control.
We could have. And then I just turned off the camera, and that was that.
Pulling back the curtain, I was wanting to do a Zelina Vega thing for Backlash. I think that's a very fun story. Knowing her, it was 2 years ago. It's crazy that was that long ago. Knowing that she's the U.S. champ now, I think that's a very important story. Didn't quite come together. I was also working on a thing where and I didn't meet the deadline, so it's nobody's fault. But boy, there are some Rock Austin parallels to Cena Orton about Backlash. And Joel.
Oh, his phone overheated.
No, someone called him.
Someone called him. Say his name. He disappears.
No, I just opened an app. That was all that was.
Amazing.
Okay, no, I'm back.
His calendar.
It's great. I didn't get to publish it because I was late on the deadline. Hey guys, SP3 specifically, because you're in control, because Joel's not. Do you want to hear an excerpt from what I was gonna write about Backlash that's never gonna come out because I was late?
Yes, let's hear it.
Thank you. I was
again. Someone called the app. The app open. The app got him again.
This man's so old. He's got
wait. You can't hear me. You didn't hear me at all.
No, you gotta memorize what the line is and then say it.
Okay, that's not great. Okay, let me try to break it down lightly. Oh no, the words are so good. Booster, go get the laptop. He's not.
He works like that.
He's not. Essentially, what I was saying was, Rock Austin, of course, was kicking off WrestleMania 15, but Backlash is really important because that was Rock's last straw, and that's what made the corporation kick him out. That's what made him the 1A to Austin, and it really got him rolling. Backlash is this really weird event where, from its inception in 1999 to 2009, it was essentially either a redo or a remix of WrestleMania, right? Yeah. When it came back, it was not that. When it came back in 2016, it was kind of new feuds, new things. We're not doing a watch party this weekend because the remote was fucking us on the bill. My man, like, listen, they were really paying me money to host WrestleMania or to host like PLEs. My man said he got $200 for WrestleMania. Bitch,
Careful.
I don't fight no more. Ish. Hey, Joel. Wait, I'm having a private conversation. Hey, Joel. There's a guy who you know who agitates people very much on wrestling Twitter. He's done it for years, since the message boards. Rhymes with Bovert.
Yep.
He said something really, really mean about me a month ago. You know why he hasn't said anything since?
Did you challenge him to something?
Challenge him to box?
No. I sent a tweet with his real name. Not to him. If any of you Twitter sleuths, look at the last time that he tweeted my name, look at what I tweeted right after, and he's never said my name since. Because you know what I don't do? Fuck around. You got to play with different people different ways. And guess what? I tweeted that name one time, and you ain't seen my name since, baby. What do we play? Booster 4D fucking chess.
Now I gotta find this damn thing.
I don't do it, baby. I don't do it. That one guy, I don't even know who that guy was, but the guy who put my name in the Trevor Lee tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, I'm all for it. The problem with wrestling.
you gotta wild go through this because
you that was a perfect setup. There's so much you could go there.
Joel, you are technically a white man. Technically,
I will take the technically. The Jew.
You're from another country. You're from another background, and you carry yourself like that. And listen, Jeremy, who I love, I texted Jeremy. I was like, they're playing that dumb fucking song at the bar. It was last night. But you exist in a slightly different space. The problem with white dudes of a certain age is they think we're all friends. And you got to remind guys sometimes, brother, I don't know you like that at all. And so being like slightly implicated in a tweet about soliciting a prostitute. Listen, man, I'm from San Antonio. My woman is a Mexican woman. The idea of me soliciting a prostitute like in public, that could cause real issues where I live. And so this isn't Twitter. Listen, man. That's a good reason to slap somebody. Not punch them, to slap them. And I got to remind these dudes, listen, I'm not your buddy from Kentucky who sits around and watches pay-per-views with you with a 12-pack. You can't play with me like that. We don't we don't do that at all. Like, my old lady is crazy. And I'm also crazy. And the crazy can find you. Like, and I really said this. What if she wasn't with me on that trip and you said that? And again, Trevor Lee, shout out to him. It's fine. Was he being messy? Sure, but wasn't no reason to say no names. And so I hope that guy understands. We can never be in the same room and it be comfortable because I love uncomfort. I'll never replace a seat on this couch ever. You know why? It feels bad and it reminds me I'm alive.
You live in the uncomfort.
I feel like I started this talking about Backlash.
I think you went from Backlash. You went from Backlash to Javon and Ricochet to
Boosty. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But no, I wrote like it's funny. Oh, he's scared.
Dryer's done.
The dryer's done. I was literally at like 1,200 words, and like I literally missed the deadline. And so it's on me because we were supposed to have Zelina. It didn't quite work out. I know, but you'll be happy to hear, audience. I got both of them coming up for Double or Nothing. And when I say both of them, there was a match a couple of years ago in December in San Antonio that I went to, and I was in the second row, and I went nuts for. I got her. And the guy who's been making waves, the guy who was in my last book, the guy who is flyer than most. I got him. So, yeah, it's gonna be a really good month because it's a resurgence. Like, listen, what AEW is doing right now.
No, that's tonight in Ontario, California.
Yeah, Resurgence is tonight. That's the show.
That's tonight.
That's
it's literally called
New
Resurgence.
Japan. New
that's
Japan, yeah.
That's what this dorky ass show produces when you make jokes like that.
Booze. How do we feel about that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think so Kev is actually in Japan this week.
Yep. For Best of Super Juniors. Starts tomorrow.
Kev's in Japan. Listen, man, I can't. Fun story. Kev, I saw him. He was in Vegas Mania weekend. I saw Kev, and I think I told y'all this on the show. Kev was like, "Yo, you want to hang out with me and Trick?" I was like, "Sure." And then I fell asleep for 3 days because I'm old.
You are.
Thank you, Joe. But I hit Kev. I was like, "Yo, Kev, I don't know if I ever gave you a copy of the book." And he was like, "Bro, I bought it." I was like, "Oh." He's like, "I always show love." I was like, "Kev, you're amazing." He's the sweetest kid, and I don't think he knows how good he is. Like, if he does know how good he is, he's the fucking leader, right? He's a genius. His brain is 3 times bigger than everybody else's because it's the perfect fit for him. While WWE would have been great, God, AEW is the perfect fit for him. He can be all the things he ever wants to be. When I met him, he wouldn't even introduce himself. He was literally just hanging with Garcia. This is like 3-4 years ago. The sweetest kid in the world. And he deserves it all. And it's all coming to him. And I love it, man. I really do. If this thing is going to continue, and there's no reason to think AEW won't, when it gives way to the next wave, him, Garcia, Hobbs, like, there's guys there. There's guys there that can really compete. Isn't the word, because WWE has such a head start, but there's guys there that can help that thing thrive, that can make that interesting and fun. Kev is doing pool party, put your girl on your shoulders in the pool to show how strong you are, drop kicks. Like, it's listen, Tony, Paul, recruit more college safeties who don't get to the league, because they will make your show great. And that's who he is, man.
Who wanted to learn the basics from Buddy Wayne and Katsuyori Shibata. Like, he's got the best of both worlds. He's got the athletic background with the fundamentals of learning from some of the all-time legends.
SP3, you've been to a lot of Comic-Cons. I know where you're from. And listen, man, think about out of every 10 guys that look like us doing like anime cosplay, you hate 8 of them because they're like fucking losers, right? But there's 2 of them. There's 2 every time who either like got the mad like physique or got the moves down so hard. You're like, you know what, my brother, you smoking that. Kev is both of them. He really is, man. And yeah, that was a big part of why I put him in the book, because it was like, yo, like you trained at the New Japan Dojo, like you weren't black guy with resume who went over there to show how cold you were. You were, I'm gonna get it like out the mud and show y'all I can do this. And Kev's a legend already. And like I was at Wale Mania in LA, and I like introduced him to Shelton. Cause I was like, yo, y'all should know each other, right? Like Shelton's the coldest. That was important to me. And I love that I had the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? Like that mattered. So yeah, man, I love Kev. That is, I can't wait to tell the story. And listen, man, I think for what I love, for me specifically, watching people get beat the fuck up, bro, I can't wait to talk to Jamie Hayter. I'm so excited because I interviewed Toni Storm before she was timeless, and she hyped up Hayter about them living together and them, watching tapes. And yeah, man, May's going to be a lot of fun. It is, for sure.
Love that for you, bro. Love that for you. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, did you know that I asked Mark Merrill, how does it feel to be a black wrestling pioneer, even though he's Italian?
Yo.
That was on yesterday's show. Go back and watch it.
I know y'all were having them on. I bullshit you not. So, not last year, but the year before. It's my birthday, 2023. I'm in San Antonio, and I'm going to the cigar bar, and I get an Uber. And the guy who's driving me is asking me about work. I'm like, oh, yeah, I write for The Ringer, and blah, blah, blah. He was like, yo, so you like wrestling? I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, my cousin, I don't know if you heard of him, is Mark Merrill. And I was like, word? He was like, yeah. And he was just like telling me, he's like, yeah, Mark used to wrestle, and he's a motivational speaker, and he's really, listen, man, you have to find ways to talk about people without slighting them. He got a real string of bad luck. So for him to like really be about that speaks to his character, and salute him for that, man. Like he could have very easily not been the man that he turned out to be. So salute him, man. I really genuinely think the world of him. And also like SP3, you idiot.
I had to. I was like, I would be. I said it before. I was like, I would be amiss if I didn't ask you this question. How does it feel that all these black wrestling fans gave you a plate at the cookout?
What did he say?
He laughed. It popped him because he was like, yeah, I've always been so loved by the black community. I used to go to like retirement homes and all the black grandmothers would love me. And I told him my grandmother thought that he was a brother. Like that was her favorite wrestler when he was Johnny B. Bad on WCW Saturday Night. And he was like, yeah, it was basically, he said like a black wrestling website named him in the top 10 greatest black intercontinental champions of all time. He was like, I greatly appreciate the honor, but I'm not actually African American.
That's real. That's real. Hey man, shout out to Soul Ruka, man.
Yeah,
they got on me for that. Hey, can I say one more thing? And Joe, I want you to listen, man. Joe, you can hit the button. I know you don't have a button. You can hit the button whenever you need to hit the button. Because I want to be honest about this. Well, come on, Boost.
I was like, is he gonna hit his own?
He's like, is he setting up something?
I want to be honest about this. Like, look, as a man who likes women and is attracted to women who wrestle, it was Wale Mania in LA, and it was I do have something to plug. Right? The May issue of PWI, I did a piece on the 10 years of Wale Mania from start to finish. Very fun stuff. The ego writing for a magazine, you feel it. It was a very fun piece. Shout out to Wale and Sparks and Kaz and Andrea and Kev especially for wanting me to do it. So that's coming out later this month. I saw the digital version. It's sexy as fuck. But anyway, I'm at Wale Mania in LA. Why you? It's just a picture. They saw a notification on the phone and it's crazy.
The mirror.
So I'm at Wale Mania in LA, and me being me, I find myself with Lola Vice and Jakara Jackson and what's her name? Nikita Lyons. And I'm with my home, like I'm with this dude I just met. And I'm talking to him. He's like, yo, you know them? I was like, I know him well enough. And they took a picture with him and that made his life and all that kind of stuff. So we're back, like now we're backstage and we're kicking it. I told Nikita, I was like, yo. And I meant this. I said, yo, you too thick to be doing all that karate shit. Like that's contributing to, there's a reason that they don't have linemen play running back. And like, it wasn't, and y'all know, it wasn't an insult. She didn't take it as an insult, but she understood what I meant. But bro, Joel, because Jeremy isn't here.
Well,
who's your favorite rapper?
It's funny that you say his name and he appears.
Let's go.
Look at that. Look at that.
Hello.
Let's go.
Drive safely, buddy.
Big side saddle, shawty. Let's go.
Side view shot.
Yeah. So Jeremy, Joel, shut up. Jeremy,
I can barely hear you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Joel, we'll go back to you. Who's your favorite rapper?
I don't have one, man.
Okay, what's your favorite rap song?
Same answer you just gave.
Okay, SP3. We'll switch.
I get SP3 on it.
SP3. Who's your favorite rapper?
A lot of my favorite rappers have issues to them, so I will go with right now. My favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
for sure. For sure. Yeah. Kendrick's amazing. Money Trees is on my list of perfect songs. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear Kendrick talk about relationships with women. I don't want to hear Kendrick talk about getting bitches. You know why? Yeah. Because I don't believe it. It's not a part of what you actually do, even if it happens. The biggest problem with that lady is you try to be everything to everybody. Why are you doing karate and then twerking?
Don't get me started.
You ever watch Double Team with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, but I've seen other movies about double teams.
It's one of
Dennis Rodman, right?
No. Oh no. I'm sorry, Jeremy. You're right. Joel, you're gross.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman's in that.
Double Impact is what I mean. Double Impact. Yeah. Where Jean-Claude Van Damme plays twins. It works because they're we just saw Sinners. Like, it works because you're twins. If he's playing one person doing all that, it's like, wow, that's one person doing a lot of things. It's kind of crazy. I think that lady can work just fine. What I think is you can't be all things to all people. And when you try to do that, you dilute yourself to the point where you'll never be anything to anyone. I mean, but you know what's funny about it? I say that Lola Vice kind of also does both things, but we know she can fight and we know she can twerk. It's unfortunate, but we don't believe that the other person can do either. You know what I mean? Like, authenticity is a lot, but in wrestling, if you're not authentic, you got to choose a side. And they have not asked that lady to choose a side, and I don't know why.
Because they think that she is well-rounded.
Yeah.
Nice choice of words.
I mean, they kind of have, because she was on Evolve, so they're making her start from kind of scratch. And she's now doing the I don't know if this is the wisest move when she's got them Patrick Ewing knees to do the Vader bomb as her finisher, but they're kind of switching her up into being more of a monster, or like a work the big style more.
And they should. And again, like respect to the athletes, right? That's exactly what they should be doing. Like, she should genuinely, at that size, she should be doing more ground-based stuff for her health. Like, for
Yeah.
no other reason than her health. And you've had injuries early. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think that's, like, controversial. It's just normal shit. But yeah, hey, Jeremy. Wait, I can't make that joke. Guys, listen. I don't know who's like moms or like alive or in their lives. So word to your mother is very unfair. But guys, happy Mother's Day to everybody's moms. I had to like pull back. So like, yo, I know Jeremy, but not like that. But yeah, I have a student in 1 minute, and then I'm on the road. I love you all. Have a blast. Thank you for letting me bullshit. Say bye, Boots.
We always appreciate you, Cam. Bye, Boots.
Bye,
Boots.
Cam.
Thank you, Cam.
It's open in the other apps. All right, Jeremy, what you got to say? Because I can't hear you.
Yeah, we hear your background.
I'm just ensuring that I make my appearance. I keep the streak alive that I've made every show this year and ever. That's not quite true, but at least this year. That's all I'm doing. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You wouldn't get fined if you skip this one.
Yeah, I don't think you would either.
It's a thought that counts.
I still gotta make it. That's all it is. I still gotta make the appearance. We're about 40 minutes away from, getting screamed at.
I mean, happily screamed at. You'll be fine.
I mean, yeah. My lovely wife is being a trooper right now and holding the phone so I can make this appearance.
Well,
would you like to see my fuck berserker? Do you think they beat the fuck berserker?
She was mad at me that I did not know that was a Clerks reference.
Thank you. ITW GM. She gets me. Like, Clerks is an all-timer. It's an all-timer.
Yeah, she's a huge Clerks fan. She was very upset that he was like, "How did you not know this is Clerks?" I was like, I once he said it was Clerks, I was like, "Oh yeah, that is from Clerks." I haven't seen that movie that often. It's not about family, so like I don't watch it that much.
It is like family. The rapport of Dante and Randall is kind of like us doing a podcast.
That sounds all right, actually. That sounds all right.
wrong goats, though.
Right,
Interspecies erotica.
Joel, I need you to pop me off. So my lovely
With
wife
pleasure,
got
buddy.
here on the show. Hello, everybody. Good to see you.
And the internet sucks. Oh man, what an hour that was.
That was a wonderful hour. That got us right on cue to talk about what's in the thumbnail. Since Cam already talked about it in depth.
Can I get you to vamp for like 3 minutes? I have to run and deal with something real quick, okay?
Okay.
Sure, you can do this. I know you can. Talk about Evolve or something.
No, I talked about Evolve yesterday.
Lyons.
I'll finish talking about Collision with everybody. Yes.
Yeah,
So outside of Timeless Tony Storm's promo, I absolutely love, like I said. Oh, you want to talk about basketball? I mean, I kind of called it yesterday that the Minnesota Timberwolves was going to win against the Golden State Warriors. They need Steph Curry back. They need Steph Curry back in a hurry, or this is going to get really bad before Game 5. This series might be over. It might be 3-1 by the time Steph Curry comes back, because we need the Golden State Warriors need him. I already said that Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm rooting for them to win since they beat my Los Angeles Lakers. So that's all the basketball talk. But going back to Collision, I just love the feel. I don't know about y'all. Y'all tell me in the chat. I love the feel of Collision live on a Thursday. I really feel I've said this for a long time. I've said this going back like maybe like a year and a half ago, that they really need to make it a Thursday show. I think that it would just it helps the vibes of it just coming right off the heels of Dynamite, and it has that connection more when there's not a couple of days in between, and they can avoid the pay-per-view rush that happens on Saturday. If they only are doing this on weekends that, you know, WWE has shows, that's also fine, but I just like the feel of Thursdays with Collision. It just has a different feel to it. Love that arena that they were in on Wednesday and Thursday. It's just a different kind of feel. It's very reminiscent of Hammerstein Ballroom, which is one of my favorite buildings to watch pro wrestling ever. And you know, the one that we saw in Boston was similar to that, the MGM Grand Friendway, I think that was called. And this building in Detroit was very similar to that. Absolutely loved Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. That was an absolute banger. That was big, meaty. That was a steak skirt matchup. Two women just going at it and beating the absolutely holy hell out of one another. It really got to like the vibe and the intensity of their All Out 2024 matchup, the street fight. It really got to that towards the end. You could give or take. I know there's going to be some people who are down on the finish, but the finish was to basically parlay us into the whole Marina Shafir and Willow Nightingale rivalry. So I was fine with that. I like Chris Statlander getting the victory. I hope that she's a part of the four-way eliminator matchup coming up on Wednesday at Beach Break, which already has Timeless Toni Storm and the returning Sky Blue back in Chicago. I'm hoping that this that Tony has been watching In the Weeds and AE Ramble, and he heard my complaint because I'm a huge Toni Storm fan, but you had the perfect opportunity to set up a challenger for Timeless Toni Storm in the four-way that was on Wednesday. You got another four-way coming up at Beach Break. You need someone besides Toni Storm to win that, to set up a challenger for her for Double or Nothing. We need a Timeless Toni Storm matchup at Double or Nothing. So I hope that either Sky Blue or maybe Chris Statlander's involved in it, maybe a Thunder Rosa is back in it. One of these women win that one. They don't have to pin Toni Storm to do it, but it sets up a Timeless Toni Storm title defense at Double or Nothing, because I think that would be a big void that would be unfulfilled for the Double or Nothing card, which they really need to get on the ball with, because we're like 2 weeks away of building the rest of this card up. I know that Hayter versus Mercedes is going to be absolutely splendid. I know Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page should be an outstanding matchup. You have two great matchups already on the lineup. Anarchy in the Arena is going to be chaos and a lot of fun. That's 3 matches. But we need more than that, and we need Timeless Toni Storm on that card. So I'm hoping that whoever's in that four-way, whoever's not Toni Storm, wins that matchup to set up a big matchup there. But I like the fact that Collision is becoming like the woman's focus show, because we got also set up for Anna Jay versus Megan Bayne coming up at what's that, next Saturday Collision Beach Break in Chicago. I think they're taping it all in Chicago, and I do want to get this quote right from Harley Cameron, because Harley Cameron had the line of the night in my opinion when she said, "Megasis, I bet your back is blown out by the pipe I gave you last night." Pipe, that piped me and popped me. Love that line. Harley Cameron, she lays the pipe.
So what you're saying is Harley Cameron and Toni Storm need to work together again.
These Australian women they kill me with the puns. They're the best talkers. They're the most entertaining talkers in the company.
Kyle Fletcher, looking at you. I get it. I know it. Laid that pipe down. Piped him way down.
Yo, that 8-man tag was so much better than I thought it would be, with the Callis family versus Outrunners, Bandito, and AR Fox. AR Fox is probably the most entertaining jobber in AEW. Yeah,
I wasn't surprised by it. I thought it was just like, you've got these 8 guys, you know they can wrestle, so we're gonna have them wrestle, and they're gonna show out. Like it was the super indie match, right? Which is something that AEW traditionally would do on an episode of Collision. It's not a knock at them. It's like, it's a good solid match to do, so you do it. And again, people are giving their flowers to AR Fox, who continues to be that guy, right? He's been in wrestling for so long. He's trained with a lot of these guys, so like it just makes sense to have him around. Sky Blue is hilarious just because she's now positioned herself as this violent little thing. And I'm like, all right, that's I guess that's what you want to say. As long as you're not dressing in your Mystery Machine attire, then we'll be okay. Your Scooby-Doo gear. I spent a year completely ripping on at a time when she should have been this like dark goddess thing. Is Julia Hart out of action? Is she injured again?
I hope not. I just thought that they hadn't been using her in it's been like 2 weeks. I think
I know that she was with Brody King recently. I'm just thinking about who the fourth woman is for this match because I think you're on it that Stat should be one of them, and Physical Media is another one. So there it is. I thought that was a DVD box.
No, this is probably something for my daughter where they need my fingerprint from my phone.
Oh, of course.
There we go. Because they want. Oh, okay. So buying something on my phone.
I'm buying something, of course. You got to get some V-Bucks. Billy Starks is another good shout, but I'm thinking of people because, like you, I thought that this past week when they did the 4-way, I thought that was what was going to lead to Toni Storm's match at Double or Nothing. Instead, I don't know how I feel about them doing it twice. I mentioned it on the show that the idea that Toni is getting kind of more and more daring with her title channel with her number one contendership challenges, it works to the point where now this match is going to be the one where she, gets screwed basically because she doesn't get pinned. Yeah. But I also find that's a little bit of I don't know, it's kind of an underhanded way out. I don't love doing the number one contendership matches over and over again, or doing the championship eliminator matches, whatever you want to call them. They've made it make sense. I'm just not the biggest fan of doing them, especially doing them twice in a row. It was like not
even twice in a row. This is like the fourth one she did it with.
I mean the 4-ways, specifically the 4-ways. But yes, they've been doing the eliminator matches for a few weeks now. You're right; those have been 1-on-1. They did a couple of those, and then they moved to the 4-way. But also, like, it doesn't. Okay, in a way, it kind of downplays your women's division as like Toni is the top. She's the champion, but it's kind of like she's now beating 4 women at once in these matches. And yes, she's not pinning all the other 3, but like it does kind of less than more women at a time, which shouldn't be the point of this. These 1-on-1 matches should be, I don't know, you can turn one into a triple threat and maybe make more sense of it, but it just feels like, oh, you're just gonna have her beat everybody, doing the old hardcore Holly, give me the belt, and then I beat everybody kind of.
They should have done a 5-way. Just add one more person. That would have fit with Toni's promo of I won 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 3 at a time. I'm gonna do 4 at one time. Yeah, the crowd would have popped for that.
Yeah, but there's a reason to do it. It's just like you do it at the expense of the positioning of the women in your division.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's like her getting over on everyone. I think that there's would kind of be the one designated person who should be out of the contention and shouldn't be in the next one. But I thought that the perfect opportunity in that 4-way was for Thunder Rosa to win, to have a battle of Thunder Tits, because it was over, especially in Detroit whenever they were working together, and they had the nice little moment at the end there. So I wouldn't mind that, and I don't mind them using multi-woman matches, because I don't think that coming off of the Hollywood ending, Timeless Toni Storm should be losing to anybody. They did that in the Megan Bayne feud, and it made sense because she was going against a monster. But if you're going to set up another challenger for her before All In Texas, I do like that they're doing multi-woman matches, because she doesn't have to be pinned in it to get the opportunity for someone else. And it's the fact that we've not done really the multi-woman matches with the champion involved to determine a number one contender before. Toni is kind of the first who's doing multi-woman matches. Is usually 1-on-1 eliminator matches that we usually see. So I like that Toni is making it a part of her character, making it a part of her story in a bit. So I'm willing to kind of look past that, any criticism in that regard. But I like the use of the women this week on both Dynamite and Collision. I think it was like 11 women used on Dynamite, and I think it was like 11 or 12 used on Collision last night.
No, for sure. And again, going back to the whole, like, this is what Toni is doing. She is presenting herself as wanting to face all these women, and eventually she's going to bite off more than she can chew. Like, I understand where the story is. It's more just watching. What was my train? I just lost my train of thought. Having your these 4-way matches, which are effectively championship contender matches, you know, and it's a cop-out way to not have the champion get pinned in a match that is traditionally you beat the champion, you get the title shot. Now you're just putting the champion in these matches where anyone can get a pin and therefore get the title shot for Tony without beating Tony. That's where I'm like, why? Like, there's the disconnect. And I talked about this on Wednesday. It's like, again, storyline standpoint, I get it. From a presentational, like, wrestling trying to get your number one contender through either this way or that way, you've merged this and that together, and it doesn't really compute because your champion's not getting pinned in a match that traditionally is about pinning your champion to get the title shot. And instead, like, just do a number one contendership match, do a top contender match. That's it. Easy peasy.
But that's a trope that's been overused. At least this is something new and interesting.
And I get it. That's why I'm like, I'm not completely panning it. Like, again, I understand the reasoning for it. It's just also there is a bit of like, why this way? Why would you, like, did anyone sit in the room, in the writer's room or in the creative room and just be like, this is all in service of just not pinning Tony, right? And if someone says yes, I feel like someone should be asking, well, why? Why wouldn't you just take Tony out of the equation and make it a number one contendership match? And then
because we do that all the time. I just explained. We do that all the time. We're doing something different. We're doing something new.
I'm trying to give you the logic in an
I'm giving you the solution. You're coming up with the problem. I'm giving you the solution. I'm giving you the reason why.
But the solution doesn't really make sense.
It makes sense. Yes, it does. Something new, something different. That's what all wrestling fans want. They don't want the same minute, number one contenders matchup. They want it to be something interesting. And now Tony has proven that she will win in this type of scenario, which makes it more of a possibility that she could just win again on Wednesday. So when someone actually does win the eliminator matchup, then we've ended it. We've reached the apex. We reached the payoff of the story that they're telling here.
Fuck it, women's Punjabi prison match. Let's go.
All right, now you took it too far.
Well, you're
I did like
difference.
No.
Why wouldn't you do
it? Something different but good. I forgot that part. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's my fault.
Tony would call something completely wrong that starts with Poon, but I'm not going to finish the sentence.
I'm not gonna go there with you. But the main event was good. I didn't like the non-finish. Felt like a WWE style TV finish of we can't pin anybody and we're not going to announce what the actual result is. We're not going to give the win to Dax via disqualification, even though it definitely was a disqualification finish in favor of Dax because Nigel got into the ring and he interfered right in front of the referee. But I do like Nigel McGuinness getting involved in this story, and if it leads to Garcia and Nigel versus FTR at Double or Nothing, I could get down with that. I would like to see that. I think that FTR would probably win that, and then post-match they try to like spike power drive Nigel and put him in permanent retirement, and then Cope comes out to make the save.
They were on TBS during Thunder Hours, so they had to have Tony do, we're out of time, and it was the perfect Thunder-esque ending. That's all it was. Tony Khan was just like, we got to do it just like Thunder back in the day. And Tony Schiavone's like, even I don't want to do that. But they did it. And everything that you said is exactly in service of what it is. Nigel getting involved. I love that Nigel's such a little shit because he gets his headset knocked off. And then he turns around, stares at Dax, and then he puts the headset back on and says, I'm a professional. I was retired in 2011. Like, just like your hairline design, and bam, they just started again. He was doing it. He was doing Michael Cole's doing it with WWE right now, where he started doing that with Gunther. Obviously, that's not Michael Cole's not going to have a match out of this, but the idea is just mouthy, people behind the desk getting their just desserts. I like it. I mean, Nigel coming back once in a while gets people happy, myself included. So it made sense. It was just funny because yes, there was definitely a finish that could have happened. Dax could have lost, and that would have been fine.
Also could have done that, but I didn't think that was the right result to do because I think that FTR are doing great as heels, so I didn't necessarily want to see. Dax proves once again that he is he can be a great singles competitor if he ever chose to. That was a great matchup. Love the Three Amigos superplex. I've never seen that before, and I'm like, why hasn't anyone ever thought of that? the three amigos superplex. That was. I love that Garcia can do the three amigos, but superplex form better than Dominic Mysterio, the son of Eddie Guerrero, can actually do the three amigos.
It was very well done. Again, good matches. The wrestlers know how to wrestle, and there's one thing that I like about wrestling is when the wrestlers know what they're doing. Volib sent a super chat saying, "No vanilla fumble today." Oh, but there was. Or for a while, don't feel like it with all the war tensions here. Just showing love for distracting me with your stories, especially to Cam. Cam obviously is gone now, but thank you, Volib. We hope you're doing well. We hope you're doing okay and stay safe. The vanilla fumble was not advertising Blake Christian on the show and then still having Blake Christian on the show. And really the only thing that I want now is Blake Christian retiring Billy Gunn at All in Texas. And that should be the main event.
Well, you said it was good wrestlers having good wrestling matches, but we didn't even mention the big story of last night's show. One of the best. Vanilla, baby. I knew you were. That was it. I was like, let me just keep talking, so he just forgets to do it, and he did it anyway.
No, I don't forget.
But no, the best thing from last night's show was Ricochet stealing a prosthetic leg.
I was getting there. God. I was getting because this was all going to go into the thumbnail chat. Absolutely.
I know.
I got you.
That was the main event, though. That was the best thing on the show.
Yeah. I do want to point out the MJF Hurt Syndicate stuff. I haven't had a chance to talk about it since it happened on Wednesday. There's a small part of me in the back of my head that believes a lot of people talked about, they're gonna swerve MJF and bring in Cedric Alexander. Okay, that's cool. Then I want MJF to basically one up them and be like, well, I paid Top Flight to let me beat them up, and now they're with me. That's basically how we get it. Is Top Flight turns heel, you solidify Hurt Syndicate as good guys, and MJF just gets Top Flight in the deal. I feel like that's like the most piece of shit type of thing MJF would do. Be like, yeah, I wasn't really you think I was gonna hurt somebody? No, I was gonna pay somebody to let me beat them up. I feel like there's Top Flight got in on this somehow on the ground floor. I think there's something there, but I do think the idea of doing Cedric Alexander coming in and being the next guy in Hurt Syndicate makes sense. It works. It's fun. I would do that.
Yeah, I would like that, even though, I wouldn't like that for Top Flight because they look like losers already. They would look like bigger losers who paid to get their ass kicked.
Yes, but it also feels like you can turn them heel based on this and maybe try to reset them. They've got a long way to go. Top Flight have not been as strong as they could be.
He could just align with heel Top Flight crew.
Yeah, but crew just likes to sit in the shadows. They don't want to get beat up for money. MJF needs lackeys.
No, he was like he paid crew like to figure out who he could beat up, and they said Top Flight.
Yeah, fair. We'll see what happens. I just wanted to point it out because I found it funny that they did this whole thing with like, Top Flight comes out and they call out Hurt Syndicate, and I'm like, why are we doing this? And then all of a sudden MJF comes out, beats up Top Flight. I'm like, this feels extra contrived, like someone's in on it in the story, but we'll find out soon enough on Wednesday. But between that and having like the lawyer show up and the lawyer won't let them talk, it was some of the stuff was like, you really let this go, huh? But yeah. I'm looking forward to the answer, the announcement on Wednesday night. That'll be fun.
It felt like the calm before the storm, the whole segment with MJF and Hurt Syndicate. It felt like a rare okay, it could have done without this, even though it's been the best story in AEW over the last 2 months. Yeah, well, really the best performances lately have come from Ricochet, like you said, in and out of the ring. My God, who would have expected it? Ricochet has the match against Angelico. It's a great Lucha Underground rematch. If you know, you know. There was some, again, good back and forth, and I love that the announcement of the match came directly after the thumbnail issues, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But really, the big notice here was Zach Gowen's in the audience, hasn't really been involved with wrestling in over 20 years. I think he said 22, 23 years, and Ricochet just grabs that man's prosthetic leg, and they got the right one-legged man this time. Zach Gowen's going to be in a fight against Ricochet next week on Dynamite, which absolutely hilarious, something that no one had on their bingo cards.
and something that just, you know what, for Zach Gowen to get an opportunity in 2025 after everything he's been through, and if you go back and you read or watch interviews of stuff that he's been through, and we're talking, you know, issues with drug abuse and alcoholism and what he's bounced back from and what he's doing now, this is a great opportunity for Zach, especially now with young kids being able to do this is what daddy used to do, and give him that potentially that last match, that last opportunity to be that guy. I think it's really good stuff.
Yeah, it was something that surprised the hell out of me when I first saw him in the crowd. I got to interview Zach maybe like 3-4 years ago when I was a part of Sportskeeda, and I had a great conversation with him. He's a very humble, genuine guy, and talking about the different angles and the storylines that he was able to do on a national platform in WWE. It's amazing because of the story that he's been through throughout his life, being kind of considered a pioneer as far as a one-legged wrestler with a disability, being able to make it to the big time the way he did. And yeah, Ricochet's whole gimmick now of him not using the scissors to bloody people, but him to cut the hair of people because he's insecure that he's the only bald one. That was funny. That was a good bit that I don't think a lot of people are pointing out there. And then Zach Gowen, trying to get on him and make fun of him, and then him getting into the ring to stop Ricochet from continuing the haircut on the security guard, and then proceeding to kick his good leg out from under him and then pull out the prosthetic leg. And the heat that this man got, my God, I was like, this is one of the best heel angles that I've seen in a very long time in AEW. Like, he has been a revelation as a heel. He's really gonna be up there, I think, at the end of the year as far as like best heels in wrestling. He is one of them because he's been able to kind of talk and get under the skin of the fans, play this very cocky, arrogant character who just wants nothing more than to just piss off the fans that are making fun of him and calling him bald or throwing toilet paper at him. And he's just trying to draw the ire of the fans, and he's doing a splendid job at it. It's like, dude, you had this in you this whole time? I just thought you were Flippy Wrestler number 7, or Flippy Wrestler number 1, because he was such an innovator during his like Dragon Gate days and independent scene days and everything he did in Lucha Underground and places like that. But like, he has shown just a totally different side of himself since turning heel in AEW at the beginning of the year. And I thought that this is right behind the original kind of stabbing of Swerve on that first Dynamite of 2025 as one of his best heel angles that he's been able to do. And it sets up a out of the box kind of stupid fun type of matchup for Beach Break, where he's facing Zach Gowen of all people. And it's just, I do agree with you. It's great for Zach because he's someone that has been through so much in his life, especially after his days, being on WWE television in the early 2000s, and then everything that he's gone throughout his life, and being able to do that for his kids in a big market like Chicago as well. So I'm happy for both Ricochet and Zach out of this, but like, great angle. This is probably the most talked about thing that happened last night on Collision, and it got the proper response and reaction to it. Unlike some of the things that were said on social media about Ricochet.
So we'll talk about that in just a sec. I want to go back to something you said about the character development for Ricochet. When he came into AEW, not everyone, but there was definitely a loud group of people saying like, he's got to do more than just the flippy stuff because they have great wrestling already. That was something that I think was heard, something that was relayed, and also something that I think maybe Ricochet had in mind when he signed his deal. I think he knew, I need to do something a little different to stand out in a crowd of really great wrestlers. This has been it. This has been great. This has been a complete transformation for him. And I think, as we transition into the Twitter stuff, he's always had that kind of Twitter banter, that troll type of mentality.
Yeah.
It was like he used to reply to people on Twitter when he was with WWE and then have to, get rid of it because you can't be saying that, especially if you're in WWE. So he always had it. He was just never fully given that opportunity to show it off when it came to his WWE presentation. He was always kind of pigeonholed as, the superhero or the high flyer, or the superheroes are real was always the bullshit with him. That was, that wasn't good for him. He could do great work, and now he's able to not only do great work in the ring, but also do it with the microphone and do it online. And shall we talk about it?
Absolutely. I do want to say my pitch to you that I gave to Jeremy and Jimmy yesterday. Sure. Ricochet in the Elite, please. He's a much better fit for the Elite than Jack Perry ever was.
It fits. I agree. And I think coming into it, we may have been talking about it early, was Ricochet being a dastardly heel and joining up with the Elite because he's a troll like them, and it would work. I agree with you 100%. It would be a fun thing to deal with. So Ricochet gets a tweet from somebody at Happy Corbin, not Tom Pestic. This was someone whose username was legitimately at Happy Corbin. Good stuff. Saying Javon is the best young prospect in wrestling, and don't come in my replies talking about some randoms nobody ever heard of either. And then Ricochet quote tweeted it and said I'd squash him. I guess someone sent it to Javon, or he got wind of it, but then Javon quote tweeted it and said, "My bad. I just got done training at the Performance Center under Shawn Michaels, something that you don't have or do, but I bet your brown egg head ass," this is verbatim by the way, "would squash me if Tony told you to. Much love, OG." And then a fiery heart emoji. And then he does hashtag the young OG, hashtag Tupac of this generation. Which is wild enough to start. that alone, and also listen, I'm not the biggest JD from Detroit fan, but he pointed this out, and he was just like, the one thing that really gets to me is the fact that this kid is tweeting like a Ric Flair account with his
all caps, and every word has a cap. That's why I was gonna say when you were reading it, I was like, you're not reading it properly. It's my bad. I can't. It's capital letters.
I just couldn't. I was like, what are we doing? Did I say JD from Detroit?
That's fine. I'm from New York. We don't claim him. So, yes, JD from Detroit. That's his new name.
Let me tell you why I said JD from Detroit. I listened to Wade Keller. I listened to The Torch. There is a guy who frequently emails. His name is JD from Detroit. That's probably what I meant. It's not the same guy. The JD from SP3's neck of the woods when he's there. So, yeah, my bad, King Potato. Thank you for calling me on that. So Ricochet replies, "Brother, I was learning from Shawn Michaels," and he does Shawn Michaels, Michael '*S, and I was like, Anyway, when you was like 12, then went on to become multiple-time champion, capital C in champion, sure. Let me know when you win one, little boy. And yeah, if Tony asked me, I'd definitely beat your ass, cuz. All right. And then we get the reply.
Look at that, Joel learning, because I heard so many. I was watching a few YouTube channels who said he said "cuh," and no, that's "cuz." That's how people write it if you are of our vernacular. Thank you, Joel. See, this is why you're sort of white. You're not full on white.
I just try to listen. I just try to be respectful. That's all I'm trying to do. Quote tweet reply from Javon. This is the one that got everybody up in arms. "You learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multiple-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade, am I right?" And then he does crying emoji, hashtag the young OG. Again, why is he hashtagging these conversations? Oh god. And then Javon then replies, "Sounds like Mr. Khan isn't giving you enough attention. So," sounds like my kid. "So you had to come for a successful ass youngin. You're giving me the most views on my post, and I'm finally helping you get the most attention you ever had in your career. All love, winky face, fiery heart emoji." No hashtag young OG on this one.
No, the second one. He was like, maybe I went a little too in. Let me just put a second one here. No hashtags, no SEO. And then Ricochet did put the final response of how many people can they fit in the PC? Oh yeah, you look really cool right now, or something like that. So
so these have all been deleted.
Well, Javon says Ricochet hasn't.
Because Rick is just. So
Ricochet's just played his character on social media. He don't care.
I'm sure someone from AEW is like, "All right, you could get rid of these things. And he was like, yes, I could. And then that's that. End of conversation. I got a lot of people feeling a certain way. I looked at it. Y'all see how I'm looking at this now. I was looking at it the same way when I read them. I was like, what are we doing?
I don't know if you watched Hey Ramble yesterday. We got told that in the chat, so I read it live on air, and I was just laughing uproariously.
So amazing. So there is some miscommunication, some misconception going on. I do want to clear this up. So over in our Fightful Select Discord, there was in our Ask SRS section, there was someone asking like, sorry, what were they asking? Hey Sean, are we getting a WWE AEW Worlds Collide after that Evans and Ricochet match, or after that the Twitter exchange? And the response from Sean was, Wolf, Ricochet really trolled a guy into getting media class for the whole PC, and people ran with that. It was not, first of all, not to be reported, because that's not you. Our Discord is not for Fightful Select. Our Fightful Select Discord is not to be aggregated and reported on. That's not what we do. It's not a report. It kind of went around that particular quote, and it's not something that's true. It's not something that's happening. Yeah, to make a long story short, that whole thing about Javon's statement getting the wrestlers media training it's not true. It's not something that is, being reported. It is something that Sean had kind of jokingly mentioned. There is a possibility that someone gets to talking to, but nothing is.
It is kind of obvious from the deleted tweets that somebody said something to.
Yeah, Javon. And at the end of the day, Javon probably went to work this morning at the PC, and Sean probably tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, young OG, that was dumb. I heard what happened. Don't do it again." And they probably laughed about something, and then they went on with their day, because it's not that serious. I'm sure that people were making jokes at Javon, and I'm sure Javon was making jokes too. Like, I'm just we don't need to get tribalistic about this, because at the end of the day, these two guys just kind of had some on the court banter with each other, and the crackhead thing was what everyone kind of went straight to. And we know that the man he's talking about is not what Javon is alleging he is. We know this. It was just the fact that he went there that made it absolutely wild and absolutely ridiculous.
Like, this is why I laugh at the people, because I see it's in our chat as well. The people that's like, "Oh, Javon cooked him," and I was like, "Did he? Did he?"
He said something funny, corny.
He said something funny, but he didn't technically cook anybody, because if you think about it for a moment, his first reply is him bragging about working with Shawn Michaels. And I grew up in the 90s. Shawn Michaels is probably a better definition of what he just called Tony Khan. It's all funny. Like, that's why I don't understand why the people are like falling into a tribalistic tribalistic trap of saying anyone cooked anyone here. Ricochet is a goofball heel who is playing his character and being a troll on social media. He rage bait a 21-year-old, so that's not a flex for him. And the 21-year-old basically called someone that could help him if he ever becomes a free agent and he wants negotiating power, a crackhead, thus hurting the chances of him going there or using that as a way to get more money in the company that he's in. No, this is a 9-9 double knockout. Like what are we talking about? Everyone looks bad, everyone looks stupid, but it's supposed to be funny at the end of the day for all of us as fans. I don't understand why we can't just all laugh at everybody and say everybody looks like a goofball here. Like, what are we talking about?
Everyone back to your corners. Everybody, all right, we had a good laugh. Yeah, let's get back. Sit down, kids. Let's get back to work. That's all this was. It was fine. Nobody's losing their leverage because of a tweet that stupid. He didn't go in and say, like, you should be, this or that. I'm not going to say it on the air because then we'll get demonetized. But there are a lot of wrestling fans who made a mountain out of a molehill. And you know what? I was at Elimination Chamber 2023 when Ariel Helwani was there, and Helwani and TK got into it over Helwani being at the show, and Ariel made comments about Tony playing in the snow and all this stupid shit and calling it like the worst kept secret in wrestling. And okay, fine, whatever. That was a little bit of those two getting a little too, at each other. This one was just funny because of how corny it was at the end of the day. There was really nothing to it. I like both men. I like both men as performers. I like both men, the way they present themselves, most of the time. This is just me laughing at the end of the day. And
yeah, I will tell you, I agree with Big Man Dog. I like both of them more after this because Ricochet is just a troll, and he is doing a masterful job of trolling people and people believing. And he is like, and we've always kind of said, even when he was like a baby face, and you heard him on the mic in WWE, and you saw the promo with Drew McIntyre where he told him to shut up, maybe you should just shut up and stuff like that. He's had a little cornball in him, and now he's taken it up to 10 with this whole entire character, and now he's rage baiting a 21-year-old. And I love Javon because Javon is like I lived in the Bronx. I grew up in Harlem. He is like every 20-year-old that I know. Like if I ever sat down with a bunch of my nephew's friends, when my nephew's 22, 23 years old right now, if I ever sat down with one of them, I would probably hear the same type of rhetoric that Javon Evans says outside the ring and some of his promo style when he comes out sometimes. Like I just love the way that he just talks on the mic because it's very naturally him. And I love the interaction that they had here because it was just funny at the end of the day. I don't know why it has to be, oh, this person won that, this person won that. If you think anyone won this here, you've never played the dozens on a street court in New York City, or played a dozens with black people in general. This was I think that most black people was just like, man, both of them is kind of corny. But this is funny as hell. It's happening with two people in one's in $1 billion corporation, one's getting paid millions. Like, they just had a battle of the dozens. Like, no one lost here, no one won here. It's just funny.
And you know what? Like Tony's a troll ass motherfucker too. Like he knows. He used to do this stuff before people were like, you got to stop that. And Tony Khan, to his credit, he's stopped doing that. He stopped clapping back. He stopped playing this game. He's just, he just wants to be owner who gets left alone and promotes his product. And like, I think that's good. Let Ricochet be that extension. Cause I think Tony was kind of laughing. I think he probably said to Ricochet, like, hilarious. Now just be cool. And that was it. And that's all. And someone in the chat said it, Tony would definitely hire Javon if Javon became a free agent and decided, I'm done with WWE. Like, you're going to hire a guy like Jay Malachi. He was on AEW Dark before he got a WWE deal. Like there is a reason to have both these men on your roster. Now there's even more of a reason because you could tell a backstory to build to a match, because I'm sure these two guys are going to have a good laugh over it one day. And if they're in the same locker room, they're going to go tear it up. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hilarious,
absolutely. I like both of them in the ring. Now I love them even more as characters. It's all, and I can enjoy a corn off. This is a corn off, and this was one of the funniest corn offs between two people from opposite promotions. And I love there's still people in the chat that's like, well, Ricochet started it, and Javon still cooked him, and Ricochet cooked him. Oh man, no, Ricochet got people to get media trade. No, it's just funny, guys. Why can't we just laugh? Laugh at two people who are making way more money than we ever will, most of us ever will, and they just made fools out of the both of themselves. It's hilarious.
So Pile Driver Finisher saying make Javon heel and have him say shit like this. Go back and watch the promo between Trick and Javon from like, it was from a few weeks ago, like before WrestleMania, before Stand and Deliver. They did just a one-on-one, and like Javon's spitting and he's doing his thing, and he's talking real. And it like, that's what I really enjoy about Javon Evans, is that he just presents completely different from everyone else out there. He's not clean. He's not polished. Sometimes you do have to lean in to understand what he's saying because of the accent, because of the way he speaks. I think that's good. I like that it's a different presentation. And by the way, because someone already put it out there, if and when they do the match between Ricochet and Javon, this is absolutely the build. This is the theme.
I'm a crack addict. I'm addicted to cracking skulls and balls on static.
That's it. You bring out Limp Bizkit, you get him to perform that song just for this.
It's time to panic.
They'll take the money.
Yeah, they will. They'll take that money. They take that money.
The new theme to Collision is going to be Crack Addict.
But man, oh man, it was so funny. It was so funny. Like I said the tweet. I was like, yeah, going this far with it when someone just said they squash you. Little bit of a choice. But then again, I've been 21 years old before. I know this is what I used to do and how I used to respond on social media too when I was 21. I had to put the tweet out that it's hilarious, but it's not the flex that a lot of fans want it to be. It's like, oh, he got him. Either way, if y'all saying either one of them got him, no, you're missing the point. The point went over your head and it's left a vicinity. You didn't get the point of this whole exchange. For us as fans, this is just harmless fun that really is not going to affect either person in the long run. Both of them kind of look stupid in the end, but both of them are hilarious at the same time. And stupid is funny. So,
and like wrestling is stupid. Like, no, I don't think people are taking this thing seriously if they're working backstage. Again, I think there's taps on the head, some laughs, and then they move on. If this becomes like a huge, situation, oh my God, someone's gonna pull up on the other, then sure, I'm gonna look at it and be like, really, this is what you got upset about, huh? All right, we're just gonna turn a blind eye to literally everything else that we could talk about in wrestling. But yeah, Terrence hit 4-star corn off.
4-star corn. I agree. I gave it 4.5. Like, it's being talked about everywhere. When a corn off is being talked about everywhere, you got to go to half a star. It's not a 5-star corn off, but it is a 4.5-star corn off because of the attention it's getting and everybody talking about it. And it's the fact that Javon deleted the tweet too. You can't delete anything on social media anymore, bro.
It's a 5-star corn off in Nebraska, by the way.
Yes. If you go to Nebraska, it's 5 stars. 5 stars, maybe 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome. This is great.
Yeah. No, you don't do this in Tokyo Dome. There's too much respect in the dome. You got to go to Nebraska where the corn huskers are. And you got to do your corniness there.
See, now you're thinking.
Thinking.
Get some extra butter. Get the extra butter on there.
So people do it with mayonnaise. I don't know what that's about. That's not my thing.
Yeah. Well, what's mayonnaise on corn?
It's like a Latino thing. My mother-in-law, she's Colombian, and she does it with mayo. It's not something I do. It's not something I'm into, but that's a thing.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah. Again, it's not something I subscribe to. It's just something I know exists. Yeah, there you go. Do corn with mayo. That's Pal Driver's got it. Yeah, there you go.
See, Big Man Dogs, he understands the art of star rating. He's like Javon's double reply made the final stretch a little bit bloated. You're actually right. You're actually right. I mean, a little bit too much, too many moves, not enough selling, the double reply and, bringing up attendance when you work in a warehouse in front of 150 people, he wasn't selling enough. I agree.
Oh yeah, thank you. King Pate got it. It's elote. It's street corn.
Okay.
You can do the mayo, but then you got to put there should be other toppings on it as well. You got to do that.
I think I've seen elote
100%
when I was in California back 10 years ago. It's been 10 years since I've been in California.
Now I want corn. I have 2 husks of corn sitting on my kitchen counter. I know what I'm gonna have for lunch. Just corn. Just 2 husks of corn. Oh, the gorilla's back.
Y'all think you're real?
Jesus Christ! What is going on here? I thought you would only show up when Jeremy's here.
You have me on this show. I make an open challenge. Then you bring on a wild man onto your show yesterday. That's very cute. That's very sweet. I understand the disrespect. I see what you're doing, and it's okay. Listen, he's gonna need somebody to give him a motivational speech after he's the 1 in 100 that gets that ass whipped. That much I tell you.
So I have to ask your opinion because there's another viral video. Who do you think would win between 100 Americans versus 100 British people?
What are the rules associated there? Are there weapons or is it a straight fist fight?
I think it's no disqualification. Anything goes.
I mean, if it's guns and stuff,
Yeah, the Americans bring guns.
American will bring guns. If it's a fight, no weapons allowed. The British are in far better physical condition, like less preservatives in the food, all that stuff. Like, I just feel like the cardio would be a lot better. Yeah, like, hold on, is it our 100 best Americans? I say our. I'm sorry, that's not where I'm from.
Where are you from? That's a better question.
Currently, he broke into someone's house.
Well, if you have to know, this is just a green screen, but fine. This is where I actually am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Better.
I'm glad the titles came with you.
Yeah. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I beat 100 dipshits just like you all to get those.
I mean, like Joel, not like me.
Well,
that would be like, you know.
Let's see.
That'd be a little racist, you know.
Man, there's other animals in this kingdom as well. Look at this.
Oh,
ran
look at
into
that.
a jungle cat.
Look at that.
That cat's like, there's something familiar, but also I'm scared.
Let me turn my head
to
this gorilla.
Also, are you all sending any of these crackheads at me in the 100?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I was gonna say, I have 100 crackheads that stay in front of Pathmark on 125th Street in New York City that wanna have a word with you.
Listen, could 100 men beat me up? Maybe. 100 crackheads, no way. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? They're going to be
fight usually.
Well, you can fight if you give them a little bit of motivation. It's immediate.
I'm just telling you, man. These crackheads on 125th, their skin is made of vibranium.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll go through 0 to 100th Street, no problem. If we're on that debate, I'll see you guys.
I don't think
later.
there's a 0 Street. Actually.
I don't think there's a 0 Street. And we lost him.
He gets bad signal in the jungle, you know.
Yeah, Louis gets it. You tell the crackheads that a winner gets a rock and game over, man. They're gonna fight to their heart's content. They ain't gonna stop.
Yo, for real, yo. It's a wrap.
And they get tore up. They don't give a shit because they can't feel it to begin with.
It's
100 crackheads. 100 crackheads with some media training, and it's game over, man. One of them becomes the new pope.
Oh man, Chicago Pope. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, did you hear where the new pope is from? If you have a friend from Chicago, you definitely did. You're gonna hear it every day for the next 6 months. Oh, I have a friend who once ran into him at the grocery store. He was really nice. Like, Jesus Christ. Matthew Raywald's like, my dad is friends with the new pope. I'm like, we get it, Matthew Raywald. You're from Chicago. Like, well, come on. Someone released an article today about how the brother of the new pope, they play Wordle together. Good for you. I played Wordle today too. Ain't no one playing with me.
We need Phil Lindsay to be the next person who does a run in, so he could talk about how he once played basketball with the Pope.
Phil was noticeably silent about this. Iridian, on the other hand, all over that shit. Just everything was Chicago Pope. Y'all, whatever, man.
There we go. Here
it
is.
Someone in our Discord was just like, Joel, why aren't you the new Pope? I'm like, because I'm a Jew. Why aren't I the new Pope?
That didn't stop Jesus.
Well, you could argue that other things stop Jesus.
Pontius Pilate, maybe. But
did I ever tell you the story about when I worked for a Jewish organization and we had to go to the world religions class at a Catholic school? Did I ever tell you this?
No.
My coworker was or is an Orthodox Jewish woman, lovely woman, loved her to death, great to work with. And she was leading the conversation, and I was kind of backing her up and just kind of adding my extras. And at one point, and this is inevitable because again, it's a Catholic school, she gets the question and she doesn't know how to answer this. Someone says, "Why don't Jews believe that Jesus is the Lord and Savior?" To which she replies in the most amazingly awkward way, "We believe that Jesus didn't quite cut the mustard as a leader." And I said, "Cut the mustard?" And I just shut my mouth and just let that exist.
Just let that linger. Let that linger. Think about it for a second there.
You cut the mustard. All right, that's a turn of phrase you want to use here. It's like saying we just didn't think that Jesus nailed it as a leader. So we
didn't acknowledge. They didn't put their ones up.
He just didn't spike the ball. He wasn't over enough.
He wasn't quite over to that extent. To the extent that they wanted him to be.
The most awkward car ride home. Just be like, cut the mustard.
Can you believe this lady?
This woman out here talking about cutting the mustard. And so afterwards, like, so where should we go for lunch? I'm like, we should go to a deli. We can ask him to get some extra mustard on our sandwiches.
Can you cut my mustard, please?
Well, it's another super chat. Thank you. Chicago got a pope before they got a quarterback who could throw more than 4,000 yards this season. Oh.
Damn, deep cut.
You think Seth Rollins is going to make reference to the new pope on Monday night?
Well, he's not technically from Chicago, but maybe he can bring it up in regards to CM Punk.
He is a Bears fan. Oh, it's true. They're gonna do a whole ass thing. He's gonna come out. Seth's gonna come out in all white. He's gonna be wearing a papal hat and just be like, "I am the Pope of wrestling," and then we're gonna have to deal with Julio De Niro conversations for a while.
Punk's
gonna be not like, Julio De Niro, Pope De Niro.
Wow,
Julio De Niro,
D'Angelo De Niro,
D'Angelo.
We should get Punk to say he's the Pope of pro wrestling. That's why Seth wants to be a fan of his football team.
Julio De Niro. What's wrong with you?
That was another person that teamed with CM Punk, though.
That is actually someone who teamed with CM Punk.
I remember the gathering. I'm a longtime TNA fan. I was watching the $10 pay-per-views, but that was back when I had a legal cable box.
Are you gonna pick up the new Tessa shirt that came out that everyone's all excited about?
People are excited about something with Tessa Blanchard?
No, they're excited to say, "What the hell's wrong with you?" It's a T-shirt that's gray and 3/4 sleeve, and it says, "I hate Tessa."
I've seen it. It's a play off of the Tully Blanchard shirt, and no, I will not be buying it. And no, I don't think anyone is excited to get it.
Well, if there's one thing that wrestling has always taught us, it's that if you put it on a shirt, everyone's gonna buy it because they're gonna support everything that the wrestler does. Because it worked so well for another company at one point.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah, really worked.
Nuclear heat.
The worst. Saw that and I was like, my God. And God. I'm going to talk about TNA and I'm going to say nice things about TNA, but I will say the Knockouts division right now going in Under Siege is just a ghastly position. It's not good.
They're totally doing Tessa versus Masha again.
Unfortunately,
at Slammiversary. It's quite obvious after watching that show. I was like, yeah, you have all the knockouts over here, and you still have Tessa basically feuding with Masha, but through the proxy of Victoria Crawford for Under Siege, because you have to get through that show. You have to try to find another challenger for her, or just do a tag team matchup at Against All Odds before you get to Slammiversary in July, where you'll probably run it back with a step, and then you will do what you probably wanted to do at Rebellion, and that's put the title on Tessa.
Yeah, if there's one thing New Yorkers are going to do is be very into Tessa Blanchard in Masha Slamovich's backyard too.
Yep.
Where Johnny Rods will probably make an appearance because it's in New York.
Yep.
It was very bad.
This is why they probably should have just put the title on Tessa and do a 2-month run and then have Masha win it back at Slammiversary.
Trying to think what Tessa's going to do in Toronto. There's nothing that I want to see. Because again, I'm going through this card for Under Siege, and I'm like, I don't want to see any of this right now. The fact that Joe Hendry is not defending his title that weekend on the TNA show and instead defending it on the NXT show is definitely a thought. Because
it seemed quite obvious from the little tease that we got last night that Trick was probably winning this title.
I think Trick is winning. We talked about this on our post show with Cresta, and I went through kind of the taping timelines, because you do have to take that into account when it comes to how you present literally anything, because NXT is live and TNA is taped, except for their specials. The Under Siege special is live. The next night they tape for 2 weeks, because then they go to Tempe. So they're doing that stupid 2 weeks off and then another plus special. So Against All Odds is going to be a live Friday night special, and then they're going to tape the next night for 2 weeks, and then that'll take them to a taping in Pittsburgh that goes for 2 nights, therefore covers 4 weeks of tapings to get them to Slammiversary. This is what's frustrating, is that Trick could win the title at Battleground, but those 2 weeks of tapings in Toronto that come after Under Siege fall on the Saturday and Battlegrounds on the Sunday. So you cannot, in that Saturday taping, tell any story in front of the crowd about the TNA World title. Then you're giving it away. That's kind of annoying to me. That's why I wish they had kind of switched it around and done maybe the tag match at Battleground and done the title match, at the Plus show. But again, they want more eyes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they want to put it on a big platform. They want to do something that they can say, "Oh, never been done before, first time ever." So that's the whole thing why they put that at Battleground. Battleground, I mean, that's a more interesting card than what we're getting tomorrow night from WWE. So I'll give them that.
Not by much. Yeah, the main event is going to be the women's match.
Jordan and 70 Big Hair.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams.
Yeah, if they put on Trick and Joe last, then you're giving away that Trick's going to win. I think Trick wins with a little underhandedness, and then that gets them to Against All Odds, and we'll see. I don't know how I feel about Trick winning the TNA title unless he takes it to Slammiversary and drops it to Santana, because that's
what I think they teased last night.
They definitely did a heat check, and again, it's not the first time that a company does a heat check and then doesn't follow through on it. So my hope is that they think this is worth it. And again, I talked about this last night. My concern is that Trick in NXT is still very much a babyface who says heel things, because the crowd continues to cheer for him. In TNA, he says all the things and the crowd's into booing him because they love Joe Hendry. What happens if he wins that title? If he continues to bury TNA and says, like, I don't want this thing is shit, but I'm a champion, so I'm going to be your champion. He said last night, I'm going to steal your championship, I'm going to steal your fans, blah blah blah. It was very heel. Trick Williams was, but then he's got to do it in NXT, where more eyeballs are on him compared to TNA. That's just the reality, ratings wise. So I'm hoping they find a way to make it so that Trick really is the heel without making it that, TNA are the baby faces and NXT are the heels, and we're presenting the companies as the bad guys and the good guys. None of that shit. It's got to be the guy is either the bad guy or the good guy, not the company. So
he has to cut promos on the crowd. That's the thing that he hasn't done quite yet.
But he has done it. Like, there was the one instance in particular where he called out a heckler who was like, nice heels. He says, your mama like him. And that's great. Like, you can snipe back, but that's cool heel doing that. Like, the crowd then cheered for him. So, like, if he's going to do it, he's got to get a little corny himself and get over like that with the crowd.
I don't think he's really done that as far as like too much with the NXT crowd, and I think that's the reason why the people in the PC have been still giving him the whoop that Trick stuff. And I think when they go to Tampa, he's going to get cheered as well there. So we shall see what happens if he's able to kind of make the adjustments that Seth Rollins doesn't seem to want to make.
And if it all ends with Elijah versus Joe Hendry at Slammiversary in a guitar on a pole match, sure, why not?
Jesus Christ, here we go. Here we go again.
I got nothing. I don't care. Everyone's just waiting for Elijah to turn on Joe Hendry and be done with it.
Is everyone waiting for that?
Yes, ever since Elijah showed up, everyone's like, just get to the part where you guys have a feud because it's inevitable. Yes.
Man.
Yes. Everyone was like, sacrifice. He's going to turn on them. And then afterwards, they're like, he's going to do it. It's happening. Now they're doing the tag match. It's like, it's just, again, it's inevitable. Elijah is a good heel. He's a great heel. He's a terrible babyface. He's awful as a babyface. Yeah. You can't do, talk about your sports teams in a positive way while playing a guitar to the ring. It doesn't work. He tried it. It was hokey. You got to turn him heel. You got to move with that. But we'll see. There's definitely a part of me that's like, I don't want Trick to win, but I get why they would do it. Again, Trick being a heel champion in TNA, to have Santana, the ace, come and take it from him in his home turf, that works. I wish it was Ali. Don't know what they're doing with Ali at this point. Maybe he's going to go after Maclin and the international championship at Slammiversary, but I wish it had been Ali and Santana, and the story was there, but they clearly don't seem to be going that way.
They wrapped it up. Pretty much for now, at least.
For now, because Ali's still pissed off and he's still going after people. The dog collar match, though, I do want to talk about before we kind of talk about Backlash and what's going on there. The dog collar match was fantastic. If you have an aversion to blood, you're not going to love it. But if you're someone who likes a little bit of dangerous wrestling, you're going to want to go and watch this match. Maclin and EY closed out their feud. My only gripe was I wish they had done this at Under Siege with a little more time on their side, but instead they ran it last night. It was the main event on TV. It was a solid match. It was good. Maclin very quickly bled, and there was actually a reason as to why that happened. That chain had been going into business for itself for the entire tapings. We'll leave it at that. So Maclin really bled his way through the match. EY, who was a ghost, by the way, did not bleed at all through this match, but had a great showing.
Yeah, like at one point they have so much blood from Maclin that he headbutts EY, and then EY has a blob of blood on his face, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, that's not his blood. I think that's still Maclin's blood that's on him, but there's so much blood that when he headbutted him, it looked like he was bleeding too, but it's definitely still Maclin's blood. Like, Maclin put on probably one of his best performances, and I would say, like, Maclin too, my two favorite matches from Maclin since coming to TNA are matches where he bleeds buckets. It's that match with PCO when he was TNA World Champion, and then this match here. This was a great performance by him. I thought that EY was the right opponent. They had the right storyline going in, despite EY roofing him before Rebellion, which was hilarious, and me and Krista had a great time talking about that on the main channel when we reviewed that show. But yeah, both guys just went out there. They left it all in the ring. I thought Sinner and Saint made good bump guys for Maclin, as Maclin played them like they were fucking pinballs throughout the whole entire matchup, and then laid them out towards the end, and then finished things off with EY hitting the KIA. Maclin, he feels like he was the right choice to be the first ever international champion, and he had the right story, going into Rebellion, coming out of Rebellion, with Eric Young that had been set up for him before he won the international championship, and they were able to pay it off in a big way. Like Ace said in the chat, the last ever blood match, quote unquote, technically, due to the new rule that TNA had. So the reason why there's not going to be any more blood in TNA is because they leaked all of it in this damn matchup. That canvas was painted with Maclin's blood.
Talked about it last night. I think it was actually smart on TNA's part to leak the no blood edict to the Sheets brother. PW Insider had got that, and they had put it out there, and then turn around and do this match, which confused people because God forbid the idea of a taped show, get people thinking. But then everyone at TNA promoted the fact that there was so much blood in this match, and with the report and just the general feeling was like, this is the last time you're going to see it to this degree, at least in a purpose-driven way. I thought that was good. I thought that worked for TNA. It was good of them to put it out there as like, this is it. This is the last time you're going to see such gore. Otherwise, you got to watch it on ROH tomorrow night when he faces, well, the best wrestler alive. Gore.
Yeah.
So I had to stretch for that one. I stretched so hard I got a hernia. So I thought it was good that TNA kind of played into the blood thing and used it for this match because they absolutely went ham. And yeah, Maclin's the right guy for this international championship. When it was pitched, I had said calling it international championship is such a bad idea because I get it. You can't really call it anything else because everything else exists. But like, I thought international was just like, you already have one in other companies. Please pick a different word. And then afterwards and through conversations with various people in TNA, it was like, it's a workhorse title. It can't be intercontinental, but it can be international because that's close enough. And that's what they're trying to turn this into. It is their workhorse secondary title. It's presented differently than the TNA world title, which is like this main event style wrestling match title. So it is what it is, but I think Maclin's the right guy to have it right now. And the dog collar match was a great blow off between EY and Maclin.
What do you think wins the 4-way number one contenders match next week? Elijah, Ace Austin, Matt Cardona, and Mance Warner.
I mean, I already know, so I probably shouldn't say, but
okay. I don't. So my prediction is I'll go with Matt Cardona since he was on commentary.
I like that they put Matt Cardona on commentary. I thought that was the right place for him. And also, I love that the second Maclin starts bleeding, that's when Steph DeLander and Mance Warner show up. Because Mance is like, oh, blood. I got to go see this. And then he got Ace Austin and Elijah in the back watching on TV. And Ace is like, oh, my God, I hope he's okay. I thought everyone played their part really well. So if Maclin's going to be on the Toronto card, which I think he is, then any of the four guys would work, but one of the four guys already has a match, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, why are you putting Elijah in this match? And they promoted it as like a future, international spot, but it's like, it's TNA. They're promoting for the next show. So I just kind of laughed. I was like, we know better, but you guys are sure. Give Elijah a spot.
Throw them a bone. And TNA went all out with their last two blood matches. That was two of my favorite matches of the year so far for TNA, with the dog collar match last night, and then the no rope, the barbed wire massacre matchup at Unbreakable.
And it's funny because you mentioned the Maclin PCO match. I'm pretty sure that was also at an Under Siege event. So
yeah, it was. Yeah.
The one that was at London, Ontario, at
the cinder block.
Yeah,
the cinder block spot. I still remember that. That was sick.
People are mentioning that Kevin Owens should have been part of NXT when Elijah showed up. I think it would have been funnier, but I think Kevin can just lay low for a little bit. But you know who's not laying low? Goldberg. SP3, it's happening. It's happening. Gold. He's coming, baby. Are you excited for June, mid-June, late June? Goldberg's last match, Gunther.
What would it be? Oh, in Saudi?
Oh, I think it's in Saudi.
Oh, God.
Jeremy was fighting me on it. He was like, no, he said he wanted to do it stateside, and he couldn't find the article where he thought he heard that. But I'm like, when this whole thing started, I was like, oh, I hear Saudi in June is a beautiful time. And people were like, no. And I was like, it's more likely.
He wants the biggest payday possible. And he was like the staple of like the first couple of the ones in like 2019, 2020. He was one of the staples of going to Saudi. But was it WrestleVotes that reported this, that he is speculated that he's been in discussions lately and that the Gunther match is the one? And I think Fightful Select also confirmed that that's what they've heard, that it's in discussions. It's going to be happening soon.
Yeah, that's exactly it. WrestleVotes had the initial report. Fightful Select did elaborate. There have been discussions. Nothing is 100% yet, but the belief is Gunther is the guy, which makes sense going back to Bad Blood and the altercation that they had. And then Goldberg announced he's going to do his retirement match, and that's happening this year. It works. King Potato asking, isn't Crown Jewel in Australia in June? No, it's in October in Australia. The Crown Jewel event is still going to be what it was last year, in that they're going to do the big gaudy titles and the big gaudy rings and the champion versus champion gimmick. I know I know Dave put that in the newsletter, but also it was in the press release for Crown Jewel, was that they're going to do the champion versus champion stuff. So that's not my favorite thing to do. I think it kind of undercuts one of the champions. It's a fun match on paper, but it always means someone has to lose because they guarantee winners. That's the Crown Jewel thing. And it's mostly because they're doing the Rumble in Saudi. So they're just doing Crown Jewel in the other country. And that'll be that. But yeah, if Saudi's getting one show this year, WrestleVotes had reported that the end of June was what they were looking at. That's what I had kind of been led to believe as well. So I'm of the belief that if they don't do it at the end of June, then maybe they'll do it at SummerSlam. But I don't think SummerSlam is the right place for Goldberg because there's enough already that I think Goldberg wants like a special place where it's like his last match, where they can brand it as Goldberg's last match. They call Night of Champions Goldberg's last match, whatever it is. So it's up there. We'll see. But I've been saying Goldberg in Saudi for a while. I know I said Goldberg in Toronto. That was also something I wanted, but at the Elimination Chamber show. But then he clearly was like, I want to do it in the summertime. I'm like, all right, well, it's summer in Saudi. Have fun.
Summertime in there, Saudi Arabia. Goldberg and Gunther is going to be fun. I like the fact that we're just putting Goldberg with the stars that's going to get him a lot of attention, and he has to drag to good to great matches. He's gonna prove that he can have a good to great match with broomsticks, basically, in Pat McAfee and Goldberg.
Got to do something. Listen, I think Jimmy, you and Jimmy were talking about it on AE Ramble yesterday. And that Gunther's doing all of these specialty matches in the best way possible because it shows that there is a respect for him to carry these matches. Pat McAfee has a huge following, and therefore he'll have more eyes with Gunther. He did the thing with Jay. Jay was a huge, he was a huge popular wrestler with a lot of the crowd. So you had him do the moment there. Gunther versus Goldberg, again, you get a whole swath of people who are big Goldberg fans coming out to watch this match. Not necessarily physically watch it if they do it in Saudi, but the general idea that Goldberg is someone that people will watch. You do it with Gunther, who's this big, imposing son of a bitch, then it looks good on Gunther. Give him all those silly matches. Give him all of those entertaining matches. Give him Johnny Knoxville. Let people complain. I'm sure Gunther's not going to complain about A, an easy night at work, and B, an opportunity to shine with a different crowd. It's more exposure.
Yeah. And I do agree with you. It would make sense for it to be in Saudi Arabia, especially considering this will be the only Saudi Arabia pay-per-view or PLE of the year. So you got to make it big. You got to give it a big matchup. And they're very adverse of having big matches on PLEs, it seems, nowadays. So that's a big matchup that can make people want to see Night of Champions, even if it's just out of weird curiosity to see if Goldberg's going to beat Gunther, to see if Gunther can have a good to great matchup with Goldberg at his extended age and in his retirement matchup. And like you said, yeah, it's Goldberg's retirement match. That's going to be a big draw as well. Do they need it for the Saudi Arabia show? Not necessarily. I think it could be a bigger draw on another show because you can draw some tickets and sell it out. These Saudi Arabia shows kind of pay for themselves. They already get paid in advance for these Saudi shows anyway. So I don't necessarily think that you need it for the Saudi show, but it is a big enough matchup that's going to make people want to watch the show if they're not in Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely hilarious to me how much Paul Heyman and Goldberg love going to Saudi Arabia. The two Jewish guys just love going there, and I'm just like, what? All right. All right. You like to be treated as kings because of your entertainment dance, monkey dance. I get it. Sure. Whatever. Go have fun. I ain't going. So let's run down this Backlash card, get on out of here. Dominic Mysterio puts his Intercontinental Championship up against Penta. It's a match that's happening. Dom's going to cheat to win.
Yeah, Dom gets help from Judgment Day and probably Chad Gable to pick up the victory.
And does Phoenix get involved and we introduce these two as they've been talked about, but they're now officially introduced together as a brother team?
No, I don't think he gets involved in it. I think they're saving that for probably after whenever they decide to do the draft. They'll put Phoenix on Raw.
Okay, I can see that. For the United States Championship, it's a 4-way Jacob Fatu, LA Knight. Yeah, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Fatu walks out with the victory. Who does he pin?
All gas, no brakes. Jacob Fatu pins LA Knight. Yeah, get him out the way because the more interesting matchups moving forward is probably with Drew or Damian.
Do Priest and Drew kind of cancel each other out in the match, leaving Fatu and LA Knight to just kind of do the thing?
That's what I think, yeah.
Pat McAfee versus Gunther. This should be a match where Pat McAfee gets those host spots in. Jeremy mentioned kicking Gunther in the dick, and I thought that's perfect because every match should include kicking someone in the dick, especially an NFL punter. Why wouldn't an NFL punter want to punt someone in the dick?
See, you're not thinking straight, and Jeremy's not thinking
I'm
straight.
thinking
You know, it's like blood. You can only do one per show, so you're gonna save the kick in the dick for Cena. So this one will be a punt to the ribs, maybe. But yeah, I think the question of this one is over under 10 minutes, and I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I think it's an 8-minute match. I don't think it's much to it. And then you do the post-match. Gunther beats down Pat some more, and then Goldberg comes out, does the thing. Easy peasy. Get into it. Lyra Valkyria puts the Women's Intercontinental Championship up against Becky Lynch. I think that Lyra retains because Bayley gets involved.
Nope. We are not going to be saying that. So I want Rebecca Quinn to disregard anything this man over here just said. He's speaking gibberish right now. We are in the weeds. We are representatives of Rebecca Quinn, Becky Lynch, the greatest of all time. Why? Because she quoted me in telling everyone that she is the greatest to ever do it. She wins and becomes the second ever Women's Intercontinental Championship because we need to elevate this title. And Becky being the champion means that both Lyra and a returning Bayley, which will probably happen on the Raw after Backlash, Bayley's return, Bayley and Lyra can chase after Becky.
You know, it's okay to admit that you're just a shill for one person, right?
I did my list with no bias at all. If anybody knows me and been watching me long enough, I used to hate on Becky Lynch. But when you take bias out of a situation and you do it based on our criteria, Becky Lynch is the obvious GOAT. She's the greatest woman in WWE history, and she's going to confirm that by becoming the Women's Intercontinental Champion.
I think Lyra should retain. I like Lyra. She's great.
I love Lyra too. That's what she's going to do great in chasing the title.
Clearly you don't. Clearly you hate her and want her to lose every match from now on.
Against Rebecca Quinn, yes.
Awful. How dare you use government names to put your point over?
Right. Me and her are personal friends. You know, she shouted me out.
Sure.
She knows me as Sports Illustrated in her phone, but it's fine.
Sports Illustrated in her phone. John Felix Anthony Cena takes on Randall Keith Orton, since we're using the government names to do this gimmick now.
I used to always call him Randall Keith Orton, so this is right up my alley, sir.
WWE Championship is on the line. Cena and Orton one last time, because God knows everyone was a big fan of that back in 2009, and then again in 2012 when they finally blew it off, but didn't actually blow it off. A lot of talk about how this should end. I still like the idea of turning it around, where Orton slapped the referee and got the DQ. Let John Cena do it again. Have that not necessarily be the finish, but have that be part of the match. And the referee's just like, oh no, we're not doing this shit.
Dusty finish. Yeah, dusty finish for that one. Or they're gonna do the stuff they did at like SummerSlam 09 when they had like 3 restarts, and then whose brother? Who was the I think it was Ted DiBiase's brother came out and interfered in that one. They could do that. I think that Bob Orton will be involved in some kind. We'll see Kim Orton in the front row. One of Randy's kids will give John Cena the RKO, but in the end, it'll be John Cena, low blow, title belt to the head, 1, 2, 3, picks up the win. Post-match, he's going to put Orton in the STF, and then we're going to hear, boom, boom, wrestling has more than one royal family. And Cody comes out to make the save.
I just remembered Fred DiBiase. I just remembered Kim has been doing a bunch of the walkouts with Randy, not the walkouts to the ring, but the entrance to the arena. And yeah, they've kind of put her out there that she's there. And I always joke it's like so that she can keep an eye on Randy. But if they're going to use her as a potential pawn in this match, then I wouldn't be against it. They should do all the schmaz stuff. They're in St. Louis. They're in Randy's neck of the woods. It's his home base, and John is doing the heel shtick. So yeah, why not use a bunch of the a bunch of the Orton family to tell the story?
Bob's gonna pull off his cast and give it to Orton, and Orton's gonna use it on Cena and bash him over the head with it.
It's Perfect.
We need all the callbacks to all the great John Cena and Randy Orton matches. Let me paraphrase that because I would only be talking about 2 matches. We need to go and have all the callbacks to all of the John Cena and Randy Orton matches, meaning that we need John Cena to try to blow up Randy Orton with pyro.
That would be great.
That's the greatest spot they've ever done together.
We need an RNN spot where they suddenly go to an RNN report.
He's going to try to blow him up. Cena's going to handcuff him to the ring post and have a kendo stick and start bashing him in the ribs with it. Then we're going to have Cena. He's going to use the turnbuckle and pull Orton down off a ladder and put him through a table head first.
This match is getting hardcore. I'm into it.
Yeah, we're throwing all the rule books out. This is a no disqualification, anything goes St. Louis street fight.
They ever do a dog collar match?
No, they never did a dog collar match. They've done Hell in a Cell twice. They've done one of the most boring TLC matches I've ever seen in my life.
That was the blow off last time we're combining the titles.
Yes. They did the Iron Man match at Bragging Rights 2009.
Oh God, right.
They did an I Quit matchup at Breaking Point. They had the Smosh finish edition at SummerSlam. They first twice at SummerSlam 2007, 2009. They had that match. The match you're talking about was No Way Out 2008, where Orton slaps the referee to get the DQ.
We'll see. It'll be a big schmozzy match, and you think Cody's going to be back at the end of the night.
And then the fans can play along with all the callbacks, and they can boo them out the building and say boring, like 2014's Royal Rumble when they faced each other for the WWE Championship.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't necessarily think Cody's coming back tomorrow night. I think maybe on the next episode of SmackDown.
I can see that. He is advertised for the next episode of SmackDown. That's why him coming back here would be a surprise. But if you already got Goldberg coming out, then
yeah, that's where my brain is at. If you're gonna have Goldberg come back, don't have Cody come back at the same show. Stick to one and let Cena, stand tall. He probably cheats to win. There's probably maybe a bloody mess, but at least some sort of weird finish. Just don't have Travis Scott show up, and that'll be it.
I just think you should send the fans home happy. That's what I was thinking. Cody comes out to kind of send them home happy since they're seeing their hometown boy lose. You can have Cody come out and make the save, and then he sings a song with Randy Orton.
You take the high road, and I'll take the low road.
A moment like this, some people wait a lifetime for that one special kiss.
And we're back to minute 3. And that's how you know you ended on.
See, this is how we do it here. Full circle moments.
I think it's more likely that the John Cena reign of terror becomes a part of the next few months on TV. He gets beat up on the television programs, but on the PLEs, he wins, he stands tall, and people are just booing because they're getting so sick of this guy. I think that's what they're going to do.
I can see that. Oh, you got to have John Cena the Senior come out and get
kicked. Yeah. I saw the John Cena Senior versus Kim Orton comments, and I was like, yes, they should do that. Yes, absolutely. You got to go all the way back to the beginning of the show to really get the full scope of this conversation. But for now, let's get on out of here. We've done our share. We've done our time. SP3, put yourself over. What you got?
Check me out, Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I will be live in just over 30 minutes with Maggie over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, giving a full-on preview for this Saturday's WWE Backlash. We'll have some rants. We'll have some fun. Always enjoy doing podcasts with Maggie, just like I always love doing podcasts with Joel, even though I will bury him when I'm here with Jeremy next on Tuesday. But, of course, follow me there. I'm getting in trouble with people who don't take wrestling way more seriously than I do. Check me out. And of course, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time, will be myself, the True Jaw Josh, and Miss Chrissy Love talking about This Week in Wrestling, where, of course, we will talk more about Ricochet and Javon Evans Kornoff.
Just call him Ricochet.
No, Rick Elite. That's his new name, Rick Elite. Because we're pushing the agenda, folks. We're putting Ricochet in the Elite, whether Tony Khan likes it or not.
Did you haven't seen this? Eric Stevens, my God.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
And that's all you need to know about that. So for SP3, you know who I am. You know who he is. I'm back on Monday with Jeremy if he survives the metal show that I'm sure he will be fine at. He'll have a great time. Go watch SmackDown or don't. Go watch New Japan Resurgence or don't. Best of the Super Juniors are starting. Go watch that or don't. Watch Backlash or don't. Watch Rob and Maggie, though. They're going to be on this afternoon. They are worth your time here on Fightful Overbooked. Leave us a thumbs up on the way out. And, of course, we always appreciate y'all. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, enjoy your weekend. And by the way, happy Mother's Day. Whether you are a mother, a support to somebody, someone who's viewed as a mother, you want to be a mother, whatever it is, shout out to you. This is your weekend, and we hope you get treated right. To all the moms, all the people, all supporters.
Happy Mother's Day.
We love you all. So happy Mother's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next